The Jets have submitted their first interview request for the defensive coordinator position. We have an update on how long this timeline is going to be until the Jets hire their new defensive coordinator. We've got our special guest returning as he does every Friday. So much more. Let's go. Boy Green Daily Plus, Mendoza More Bowl tonight. Oh, yeah, baby. Let's roll.
I'm going to lose my gosh darn bananas. Boy Green Daily starts now. Zoinks!
Boy Green Daily, Boy Green Daily, Boy Green Daily. Let's go!
Put your seatbelts on. Get ready for the ride. We're the freaking New York Jets, so we're built for this shit.
What's going on, everybody? I'm Paul Eston Jr., a.k.a. Boy Green. I'm the New York Jets digital reporter for Heavy.com. Welcome to Boy Green Daily, a daily New York Jets video show, also available wherever you get your podcast. We have a full article in the YouTube description down below. The Jets have submitted their first interview request in their search for their next defensive coordinator. We also have new details on how long it is expected to take to find said next DC. So I'll give you all the details on this sleeper candidate to watch. More details on the timeline. We'll talk Mendoza, more Bowl tonight. More Jet fans are going to be watching that than anybody, and we'll have you posted through all of it. But we do have a special guest joining us. He returns. It is none other. You see it over my left shoulder there, Beyond Broadway Joe, the Super Bowl team that changed football forever. Let's bring him in. It is Bob Lederer gracing us with his presence. Bob?
Morning, guys.
Welcome back.
Morning, Paul. Thank you. Nice to be back.
Yes, sir.
And nice to be home. And boy, it's cold. It's cold out here.
So, that it is.
Yeah. But Oneonta is no springtime location these days either.
Yes, I can confirm here in New York, very, very cold. So if anyone didn't know that, there's a lot of snow outside and a lot of cold.
But pitchers and catchers in less than 8 weeks.
See, that's the spirit, Bob. That's the spirit indeed. All right, let's walk through this process. We'll talk about the quarterbacks tonight. There's a lot to get to here. So I don't know how many people know who this is, but let's get into it here. The Jets submitted their first interview request of this cycle. And I will tell everybody before we even talk about them submitting an interview request, the first that I heard of this guy was twofold. One, a candidate that I was very interested in, who is a coaching free agent, is Brian Flores. So he's been the Minnesota Vikings defensive coordinator for the last 3 years. Now, typically teams, you don't see coordinators make lateral jumps. Hey, I'm a DC over here. Now I'm a DC over here. Teams normally block that. We just actually saw Jeff Ulbrich, who's the Atlanta Falcons DC right now. The Cowboys said, "Ooh, we'd love to talk to Jeff." The Falcons said, "Screw you. Block." No, you're not going to talk to him to be your DC. He's technically still under contract with us. So those blocks can happen. But the interesting thing about Flores is, again, he's a free agent, so he would have opportunities to go potentially speak at DC. So I looked at that, and I said, I wonder how likely it is he would come over here to the Jets because I love his defense. And then I started looking at assistants on his staff. I said, well, if we couldn't get Flores, would it be possible for one of his assistants to come over and run something similar? So the first I really knew about him was when I was doing research on Flores and looking at his staff. And then I listened to the Flight Deck podcast yesterday with Rich Cimini, which came out in the late afternoon, early evening. And Rich Cimini described this individual as a sleeper candidate for the Jets. And I said, all right, I need to learn more about this guy. And his name is Daronte Jones. He is the Minnesota Vikings passing game coordinator and defensive backs coach. And then maybe an hour after Rich Cimini dropped that podcast, ESPN NFL insider Adam Schefter revealed that this was the first interview request for the New York Jets. I said, wow, okay, Rich Cimini is on it, which does not surprise me. He just finished his 37th season covering this team, so he's got a lot of sources and insight.
I think he knows it happens before the Jets know it happens.
Yeah, apparently. So the interesting thing here is Daronte, while experienced, he's 47 years old. He's been around the block. He's never been a defensive coordinator at the NFL level before. He has been a defensive coordinator at other levels. So there is that level of experience for him of calling plays, just not at the NFL level, which is interesting. He's been coaching football since 2001, and basically over that last quarter century, 16 years were held as a positional coach, and then 8 years as a defensive coordinator. Again, none of those at the NFL level. So it's interesting that this is AG's first guy, because it sort of gives us a hint of what he's looking for. But then we'll talk about another guy later who's completely the opposite. So maybe he's just looking under a lot of buckets. What, Bob, refresh my memory if you haven't already, on your preference. Do you want a super experienced guy? Like, again, we'll use Steve Wilks as an example. He's not here anymore because he was fired and stunk, but he was a guy that had been a defense coordinator at the NFL level forever. So, like, super experienced. He was the guy. That didn't work. Do you prefer AG swims in that pool again? Or are you fine with a guy like this who's more upside? He's never been a defense coordinator, so you're trusting the people he's been around. Brian Flores obviously is a brilliant defensive mind, but he's never done it before either.
I wanted Jim Schwartz.
Okay, so that answers the question.
He's under contract. And
although Stefanski got fired, so he could shake free.
Well, no, Cleveland already said on was it Monday or Tuesday that they fired their coach, that they were keeping him because he might even be interviewed and considered for their head coaching job.
Sure, but if they hire another guy and he doesn't want Jim Schwartz, which is possible,
Jim Schwartz could get shaken loose.
Sure.
I mean, I think the Jets should talk to Jim Leonard. No doubt about that. I see Wink up in Michigan has been sayonara'd by Michigan, because I just looked and saw they have a new defensive coordinator. And he didn't exactly.
A college guy told me that. He gave me that. I thought Wink was still under contract for the time being with the new coach coming in. Then the college guy said, no. They hired a new guy. I went, oh, okay. So Wink is just
some guy named Jay Hill. So anyway, I mean, I like youth, but I also like somebody who's been kind of proven. The problem here is, Aaron Glenn doesn't want somebody that could potentially take his job.
Do you think that's really true?
I have to tell you, my first job that I got when I was working in Great Neck as an editor of a publication, and everybody said to me, Bob, don't hire anybody that's good enough that they could take your job.
and did you listen?
No.
No.
My philosophy was, hey, if I hire somebody, I want somebody who's going to make my job easier to do, that I'll be able to give them responsibility and not have to worry about them, and to basically, give them more responsibility if they'll take it. And I don't know from AG's point of view whether or not that's what he buys into. I mean, if I were AG, he's going to get paid for the next 4 years anyway, because he's got a 5-year deal.
Correct. Right.
I want to bring in the best possible guy that I can. Unlike last year, I wanted to bring in somebody that he's going to work with rather than just assign defensive coordinator responsibilities, because that didn't work out. That's assuming, as I think we all do, that AG is a good defensive mind. That from a coaching standpoint, we know he's a great player. He's one of my favorite players.
Sure, of course.
And a guy who didn't have the size that a cornerback is supposed to have, and yet he used his smarts and his techniques and such to make up for whatever he lacked in height. He was a great player. So I want somebody that he's going to be able to work with. He said yesterday he wants somebody who shares his philosophies and his personality. Hard to find somebody who's a really good fit personally, because how are you really going to get to know them until you actually work with them? So I don't know if
which could indicate previous working experience.
Well,
perhaps.
but you're talking about personality. That's the thing I don't like about the guy up in Michigan. And it's been mentioned here on your other programs earlier this week. His reputation is that he likes to kick what. And he rubs a lot of people the wrong way. And to me, hey, that can work. but it won't work on everybody. There'll be guys who are going to say, "Hey, let me do my job. You just give me the responsibility, and you don't have to look over me and basically be battering me all the time or ripping me apart if I make a mistake and that sort of thing." So I'm not really. And by the way, he got fired by the Giants his second year, and the Giants defense was awful that year. That's why he got fired. So he's no miracle worker either. So hey, look, we have as Carl called in and said yesterday, we have no control over this. We don't really know enough about not only the X's and O's, but everything else that goes into creating a solid defense. I mean, Ulbrich did a really good job his second year, as you've pointed out time and time again, after he struggled his first year. And the Jets defense was pretty darn good, as long as he was there until he had to be head coach. So, I want a lot of experience if I can get it, because you're going to need somebody to come in and also help Glenn mold the kind of roster he needs to build. Because I think they need much more work to do on their defense than they do on their offense.
I agree there. Junior Jet jumping in saying Daronte Jones supposedly coached the secondary that led the league in interceptions. I think we could use a little bit of that. They did not lead the league in interceptions this season. I'll give you some more data on that in a second. They did lead the league in fumble recoveries. That was number one in the league, so we could use that, but certainly interceptions as well. Yeah, here's some of the stats on the Vikings defense from 2024. That was really their magical year, which of course included Daronte Jones here. And this, when you look at some of these numbers, I'm like, all right, baby. The secondary played an integral role. They led the league in interceptions, passes defensed, fourth down conversion rate, and interceptions per attempt. And they tied for the league lead in takeaways this past season. So that should be, I'll update that in the article because I can see how that could be misrepresented. They did record a takeaway in every regular season game in 2024, marking the most consecutive games with a takeaway in a single season in franchise history. They're the only team in the NFL with a takeaway in every game. So from us having barely any takeaways in any games to that Vikings defense in 2024 having a takeaway in every single game. I mean, yeah. So if he could bring any of that, if he could bottle up any of that magic, I'd absolutely be interested in that. So it'll be interesting. Again, it's just an interview request. Yeah, go ahead.
The more I think about it, and by the way, congratulations to us for breaking the record on no interceptions. It's a record that will long be held. Yes, we can put that up. We can mount a plaque in Florham Park for that. I was really rooting for them not to get an interception. I looked at the parlay odds, and as you know, I don't bet, but I looked at the parlay odds on Sunday morning last week, and one of the things you could bet on was 0.5 interceptions, less or more, for the Jets that day. Goodness. Anyway, no, I don't think the interception thing is. I think it's a combination of talent, and we all know Sauce couldn't catch, a ball if he was standing 5 feet away from you and you threw it to him. He's very good at what he does, and that is basically deflecting, throws, but not catching the ball. And the other guys, they went through. The complete comedy of people back there, unfortunately, because of all the injuries they had. And none of them really were that good. And as someone has pointed out over and over again, it's also putting people in the right position for interception. How many did they have in their hands that they could have actually intercepted this year? Was it even 5?
It was more than 5. They had the number. It was about halfway through the season, so I have to see whatever the updated number is. But it was somewhere. I would assume, if I had to prognosticate, it's probably between 8 and 12 is probably where it was at, somewhere in that ballpark.
Okay. Well, turnovers and taking advantage of the opportunity is all a matter of coaching and planning and being prepared. One of the Jets assistant coaches, or one of the Jets players who went on to become a great, coach in in black college football, said that to me. It's on the back of my book. It says taking advantage of the mistakes that the other team makes that they give to you to take advantage of is a matter of preparation. So, by the way, you haven't noticed, or maybe you haven't mentioned, but my wife told me during the post-Christmas sales, go ahead and get yourself a green shirt so that when you're on with Paul, that you can display the green proudly. And here I am today.
I appreciate that. I hope if you appreciate this, we have a super chat coming in from Jake Asman.
Wow.
He says with a $2 super chat, thank you, Jake. Royalty here in the chat. He says, Bob Lederer for life, baby. The Weeb Eubank of guests. Bob, how does that sound?
Now that is a high honor. Thank you, Jake, and I'm ready to come on your show whenever you want me to be the Weeb Eubank of guests.
All right, you'll be back.
We talk about. I mean, I think Jake could use a respite from. We need. I know we're not going to do it, but we need to fire AG. There's a shelf life to that, especially when it isn't going to happen.
For those that are interested, feel free. My other YouTube channel I do with my partner Jim Lurch. We had Jake on this week, and me and Jake, whatever the word is, we danced about how I said we should keep AG, and Jake went, "No, he should be fired." So if you enjoy that sort of tete-a-tete, that was just posted on our Twitter account, and the YouTube video has been up all week.
I don't disagree with Jake. I mean, John Harbaugh, come on, give me a break. If you could get John Harbaugh, you got to be crazy.
It wasn't even. We did talk about Harbaugh, but I just mean the point blank black and white of it. But regardless of coach, that Jake argues that AG should be fired. I argued,
I think there's a code among coaches, and I think you'll agree with me. They don't like to be interviewed for a job that isn't open because they don't want to be seen as the guy.
Of course. Yep, I agree.
The other guy out the back door.
A home wrecker.
It could happen to them. No, but if you're going to if you're going to replace AG, you replace AG and then you go find a coach. But the problem is, I don't see, aside from John Harbaugh, I don't see anybody that tickles my fancy as an immediate and sure thing with a track record that's going to prove, to Jet fans that this guy is going to affect a turnaround and sooner rather than later. So I think we got to ride the AG train at least for another year. And I think we all tend to agree if they're, 1-8, 2-9 or something.
I'm not ready for that.
I'm not ready for it either, but
I understand.
I'm ready for the dump for the second year in a row. But if that's going to happen, he's obviously not going to be around very long.
Concur.
But right now, and I don't want to go to Team 33 anymore and ask for their sage advice.
Oh no, you're done with that.
No. And unlike when the Jets went to Jim Kensel at the NFL office and said, "Hey, let's find a coach," I don't want to do that either. The Jets need a team president who's a really smart football guy, and they don't have one. Somebody who can be in touch with the league, even when you don't need a coach, but have the kind of relationships so that when you are ready and you do need one, that you can reach out and get the best advice you possibly can from people that you know and people you trust.
So shout out to Jake. And again, if you guys want to go see that, go ahead. And I'm sure that's going to...
Thanks, Jake. Yeah. That's a nice compliment. I appreciate that.
That's a very nice compliment. And I responded to that. It said Boy Green versus Jake or something on Twitter. And I responded to it. And I presented some things that I think I like about AG after year one. And I listed them. Boo, 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 boo.
Likewise. Since I quickly run them down.
Yeah, here we go. Let's pull it up. It's on Twitter, so I'm sure it's gonna get some activity here. Let's see. Here it is. Oh yeah, Jake has already responded. I'll have to get to that later. Oh boy. Here is what I said right before the show. Wow, that was a quick response, Jake, on that 40 time was pretty good. So I said, by the way, I want to start this off by saying, hey, I understand why ESPN New York pays Jake Asman a lot of money because he has a lot of stats to back up his takes of like why AG should be thrown off a cliff. But here are just some of the things. And I want to start here and say, obviously, the Jets were 3-14. We all agree that the season was god awful. So the things I'm about to list are not a lot because they stink. But so I'm not pretending as if AG was an awesome coach. But here are the things that I liked after year one. Here are some of the things.
They didn't have any field goals blocked. Is that on your
They
list?
didn't. Oh, I should have put that on my list. I didn't. I know that would have really Jake would have really loved that one. I'm sorry, I forgot to put that on.
Been the top of his list.
That's too bad. His first draft pick was Armand Membu. He looks like a stud. So Armand Membu, thank you very much. There's Armand Membu. Let's put that in his camp. He brought in Darren Muji. Jet fans seem to universally love Darren Muji. If AG went the status quo, he was supposed to hire some random guy named Lance Newmark from Washington. AG gets hired first. He doesn't like Lance Newmark, apparently, and he throws him aside and goes after Darren Muji. And Darren Muji, by all accounts, it's a very small sample size, but looks very intriguing. So the hiring of Darren Muji. No? Okay.
Gotta give him credit for that, and maybe that gives me some optimism about a defensive coordinator.
Right. Yeah, we can only hope. And also, it was interesting, I thought earlier this week, when AG and Muji did their presser together, AG said that he would welcome the insights of Darren Muji on who to hire at DC. He will factor him into the room. AG is not just going to unilaterally make that decision for DC. He will welcome Muji's opinion on people he's talking to and things. I like that. Collaborative. Very nice.
It sounds to me so far that they are working together as a tandem.
Yeah. It does, yeah, which I like. It's presented a lot differently than it was during the introductory press conference. Yeah. Obviously, I mean, this is an obvious big feather in the cap. He hired Chris Banjo. The special teams were amazing, so he obviously deserves a lot of credit for Chris Banjo. Another hire he made that not a lot of people talk about is Steve Hyden. He is the offensive line coach. We have the only offensive line in the National Football League this season that started the same five all season long. It's the first time it's happened with the Jets specifically in 14 years. That's massive improvement over Keith Carter, who was a disaster with the previous regime.
He was a disaster before they brought him in. Everyone in Tennessee said, "Oh God, thank God he's out of here. We can't stand him."
Yeah. And a few others, and then we can go on to some other topics. But ability to admit mistakes, like that they went down a direction and said, yikes, this is bad, let's pivot. They brought in those two random kickers, that fat kicker named the thicker kicker, and then Caden Davis, the rookie, and they said, wow, these guys stink. Let's go get Nick Folk. That worked out brilliantly. Nick Folk had a great season. Defensive tackles.
Did you make note of the kicker for Ole Miss last night?
Oh, yes, I saw you had that nice follow.
The guy who makes 60-yard field goals like you and I can go to the bathroom.
Yeah, these guys are so good. And by the way, that game was terrific.
Said, oh boy, there's a guy for us to draft, and then they said, well, he's going to LSU.
Yeah, right.
He's already in the transfer portal,
which I totally understand. But that game was great last night. We'll probably get more into that game and the game tonight a little bit later with Mendoza and more.
By the way,
the game last night was
about the kicking game. Let me ask you if you know this.
Sure.
It used to be in the college game that they actually used a tee.
When
they did field goals and such. And my great observation last night, and I noticed, wow, they don't do that anymore. They're kicking off the ground like everybody else. So it gives you a pretty good idea in college what they might be able to do in the pros. And this kid's got a leg, I'd love to bring him in.
No, I would too. Hey, especially if Nick Folk retires. So there's been some mixed reporting. So Rich Cimini reported before weeks left in the season that Folk was contemplating it with his family.
Yeah.
I think Rosenblatt recently in a piece said he's no longer contemplating it. So it sounds like he's going to play football and he's set to be a free agent. So hopefully the Jets bring him back if he does want to play football. I love Nick Folk. So that would be amazing.
What's not to love?
Of course. Yeah, he's wonderful. The defensive tackles, again, Juwan Briggs, Harrison Phillips, they ignored defensive tackle all offseason. They realized it was a mistake. They added those guys in. That was very nice. And then I'll just fast forward through the rest of these. Isaiah Williams situation. Isaiah Williams crossed over with AG, for those who don't know, in Detroit. And they just sort of kept that note in the back of his head. And when he got a head coach opportunity, he plucked him off the Bengals practice squad, and he ended up being the team MVP this season, which is great. And again, everyone hates when I bring this up, but it is what it is. He reduced penalties. They were 32nd, and they improved to 22. You're like, 10 spots. What difference does that make? Well, if you do your math out there in the audience, folks, that's a 25+% jump from last to not last.
Well, not only
It's
that,
not
but
great.
if you want to really do your math,
What's that?
okay, this is the real math. When
Okay.
you go from, what were they, 32nd
Yes,
to 22nd,
that's correct.
that basically means they had to go like down to 10th in order to pull themselves down from 32nd to 22nd. That's how much improvement they had to have made.
Thanks, Bob. I'm glad you're here,
I'm
because
not
I would
affecting
not
the
have been
dad
able
for
to
that.
do
He taught me math.
Okay, well, I'm glad he did, because I wouldn't have been able to get there. So, see, that's beautiful. So, anywho, those are the things. Again, I'm sure that immediately got a response from Jake, and I'm sure that's immediately going to get a response from some people on Twitter. And at some point, when I have time today, I will try to respond to you people out there in the audience.
They haven't. The offensive line coach has not even received a mention, much less a lot of credit. And I can't give him the credit for keeping the guys healthy. I mean, that's a flip of a coin. But the fact that those guys, generally speaking, performed, pretty well in most of the games. I think there might have been 3 or 4 games where they got manhandled. But it's all experience. And as I touted before the season, as these guys play alongside each other, game after game, they will learn each other's tendencies and weak spots and strengths, and it'll make them better as a unit.
Yeah, and the other thing I'm curious about, right? So I agree with you. The offensive line got slapped around a couple of times this year. But so when you look at the sack totals, how good was this Jets offensive line? They had Justin Fields and Brady Cook, who had the awareness of a dead deer. So I don't know so how many of the sacks, when he got sacked like 9 times, and then the data suggested that 2 of those were on the offensive line. That means 7 of them. There's the math, Bob. See, I circle back for you. There's 7 of them were on Brady Cook. Like, good Lord. So that's another hard thing to judge for one way or the other. But still, so that's an encouraging sign for the future. So there's some stuff so for old AG. I'm sure that's going to rev the engine of people in the audience. So you're welcome, people. An important thing is timeline here. Like, how long is it going to take for the Jets to hire a defensive coordinator? Some people have said
you mentioned that. Go ahead.
Yeah, and some people have suggested, Jet fans are like, man, let's do this quick so we can get on top of, there's 8 head coaching openings, and all those guys are going to be looking for DCs. There's teams that have kept their head coach are looking for DCs, like the Dallas Cowboys and others, and, that's a lot of competition. But, folks, if you're expecting a quick turnaround, I've got some bad news for you. Rich Samiti delivered this on the Flight Deck podcast. I wrote a story about it this morning. They're going to interview several candidates, Rich Samiti said. This is going to be a long process. It might not be until late January before that gets done. So, folks, we have another 3+ weeks here of activity, and the Jets apparently are going to maximize that time. The good news is they're vetting a lot of people, which I always like. Consider as many people as possible. But the bad news is that increases the competition level, because as these head coach hirings inevitably happen here over the coming weeks, they're immediately going to make staff hires, and that's going to take away from the pool that you are also drawing from. So a little good and bad there.
And, in each of those interviews, and I don't know how kosher this is, but I would probe about players on your defensive group, where you are now, like Minnesota.
Sure.
Okay. The guys that, if you were to come aboard here, that you would want to bring along with you, because they would represent the core of what you're trying to build here. Because that's, we all remember that's what Rex did. Rex brought in Leonard, he brought in Bart Scott, and those were the two key guys that he wanted to build his defense around. So you can cultivate a lot of information about guys that are available, that are free agents, that are certainly worth getting a good long look at, even if you don't hire the guy.
Fair. I just want to make sure we work our way back to this, just because you brought up Wink Martindale earlier. So there's been a lot of buzz around the Jets and Wink Martindale, and here are all the levels of it. So Zach Rosenblatt reported that there is mutual interest between Wink and the Jets. Rich Cimini confirmed that there is some level of interest. He wouldn't say how much there is, but he said when he heard that Wink Martindale and Jets, he heard it on social media, he said he scoffed, like, what? That's a thing? And then he checked it with the source and went, holy crap, wow, okay, apparently there's something there. Rich Cimini's concern is the clashing of egos that would exist between Wink and AG. He says those are two type A personalities, and he can already see that clashing now. So he says, he'll believe it when he sees it, if that hire actually comes to fruition. And Connor Hughes of SNY, I mean, he pounded the table this week, saying this would be a home run hire, the perfect hire for what the Jets need. They need someone to punt. Let me read you this line. You were talking about this earlier, Bob. Here's this line from this other story that I wrote this morning here, and I quoted Connor Hughes. This is going to say exactly what you were talking about earlier, with a interesting personality. Let's just call it this for Wink Martindale. Here's what Connor Hughes said earlier this week on Jets Final Drive. Quote, Wink is a culture changer on the defensive side of the ball. He is the person who, the moment he steps foot into one Jets drive, he's looking at all the defensive players in the meeting, and he's echoing very similar to what AG said during his introductory press conference. We're the New York Jets. We're built for this, you know what. F the haters, F the non-believers. We're going to show up on Sunday. We're going to kick you in your mouth. We're going to keep kicking you, and we're going to drag you into the deep end and see if you could swim. And if not, we're going to laugh as you drown. That is the personality of Wink Martindale, and I think he would just be a perfect addition for this team. And he says the two big holdups is Wink is not coming cheap. He wants a lot of money, so Woody would have to pay him for that. And then also that personality clash that he mentioned. He said if they can overcome those two things, I don't think there's a better coordinating option than Wink for this team. I really don't. That was
as long as he ends every meeting by saying, let's get some grub.
Yeah, that'd be good. Let's work that back in. That would be nice. That would be very nice.
It does sound like Rex, doesn't it?
It definitely does. Just hearing, because I know Connor covered Wink when Wink was with the Giants, and he's been doing both roles of Jets and Giants. So it does sound that sort of thought process. Even Robert Saleh once, which won't excite Jet fans, talked about dragging people into the deep end of the pool and like championship waters, they call it, in fights, when fights are typically 3 rounds in MMA, but it's 5 rounds. Take them to deeper waters where they can't swim, the oxygen, and all these other analogies we've heard over the years. I would just say this on Wink. Like he's done it. And so this is the complete opposite of Daronte we talked about earlier. He's done it forever. He's very aggressive. If we're talking about brands, he has a style, and it's punch you in the face. And when he was last with the Giants, they led the league in turnovers. So I love that for the defense. Our defense couldn't do that for a lick. So to have that in his variety bag is good. And he has aggressive exotic blitz packages. That part excites me too. But there is a lot of, he got run out of a few places. So,
well, all these guys, with very rare exceptions, are well traveled.
Sure.
Clash of personalities. Well, Aaron talked a good game in the beginning of the season about if you screw up and cost us games, you're out of here. Mm-hmm. He did it to our first punt and kick returner,
Xavier Gibson. Salute.
Yeah, and then he brought in Isaiah, and he was gone after 2 weeks, but they brought him back thankfully.
Very nice. Very nice.
The second chance was a godsend for us.
Yeah.
I would think that the kind of kick him in the rear end guy is the kind of guy that Aaron Glenn would like to see. But again, I don't know if Wink is the kind of guy that Aaron would be allowed to give input to, because it might be, let me do my job and get out of the way. Now, Aaron did that, with his first defensive coordinator, but, he might be a little bit more inclined to get a little involved. I don't want him too involved. He's got enough to do being coach.
Yeah, right.
Well, anyway, I would bet you that Wink is not the guy they hire.
Yeah, that would, again, I trust Rich. He's been covering this team for 37 years. So, I trust what he says. And I agreed even before he said it. I thought, ooh, personalities. Wow, that'd be an interesting combination.
How old is Wink?
That's a great question. I wrote it down for a story, but let's do a quick Google to make sure that I don't have this incorrect. Wink Martindale. No, not the longtime broadcaster.
Look, I started to look that host. sort of
Damn
looked
it.
that up.
Football. That's funny that he's the first guy that comes up. 62. He's 62. He turned
All right, so
63 this offseason.
he and Aaron are really their peers as far as age goes.
Yeah, AG's in his 50s, but yeah, they're close, relatively speaking.
Did
Like 10
Wink,
years
did
apart
Wink
or
play
something.
professional football?
Oof, I don't think so. But let's give that another
I'm not gonna hold
search.
it against him, but I just want to know.
Is that a plus for you if he did? Yes, he played linebacker.
Okay,
Yeah.
well, okay. It doesn't hurt. But it doesn't really make a difference. I think it's helpful because you know what these guys are going through. You know what makes them tick. Their fears and their potential mental strengths. The physical part of the game is completely different because
That's sort of funny. So I see that he played football. Do you know where he played football, Bob?
College, you mean, or you mean college?
Yeah, college. Do you know which college he played for?
Nope.
Defiance College. That's sort of funny. That is where Wink ended up playing. That's
I've heard of
ironic.
Defiance High School. I don't know if I've heard of Defiance College.
Yeah, apparently it is a college. That is hilarious. So there you go. So I wanted to get a little bit on the DC search. So again, folks, it sounds like timeline-wise, it's going to take a while. So 3 weeks. So 3 weeks of us every time an interview request comes in talking about it and vetting out who AG is looking at. But it goes to show you, I think, just these two names this week, that you have Daronte from the Vikings, who's closer to AG's age. He's 5 years younger than AG, but he's never been a defensive coordinator before. And then Wink has been a defensive coordinator forever. So man, he is swimming in both pools. So he's not, it doesn't sound like right now he just has a type at this point. More candidates come in will give us a larger sample size.
And since I brought up Jim Schwartz, if Jim Schwartz is not available, you might want to take a look at his staff.
Yeah.
Guys that have been around him for a long time.
Oh, sure.
So that might be possible.
I
But
agree.
there's a lot of defensive guys out there. I mean, Vance Joseph, he was a head coach, and I don't think he's looking to be a defensive coordinator somewhere. But again, you can look at the people that have been working with him. But I'd really like to see, like everybody else, Jim Leonard brought in for a look-see, just to see where he's at.
So I want to get into the quarterbacks, but just because you mentioned that real quick, that's a nugget.
Yeah.
A lot of people, I think, would like to see Jim Leonard, and understandably so. Super intelligent player, played for the Jets, defensive coordinator at Wisconsin, has been with the Denver Broncos. Their defense has been really good, so it makes a lot of sense. The one fear is this, which I didn't even consider until Rich Cimini said it on his podcast yesterday, is that if Vance Joseph gets a coaching job, which is very possible, he is a hot name right now. He's interviewing all over the place. The Broncos' plan could be to promote Jim Leonard to defensive coordinator, so to block us from that opportunity, because that's their first name for
Vance Joseph might take Leonard with him.
Sure, perfect. So there's a couple of so hopefully whatever the Jets list is, they have a couple of guys they love, because man, there's heavy competition. And to your point, exactly, like someone brought that up earlier. I think that was one of the first comments on the video. Wouldn't Flores take Daronte with him wherever he goes? That could be possible. The Vikings, apparently, from all their people, say their plan was to promote Daronte to replace Flores. So it's just it's a discombobulated mess out there in the streets, for certain. But Bob, let's get into those quarterbacks. I mean, There is going to be more. This may be the most watched Jets game of the year. Indiana versus Oregon tonight for the rematch. You gonna have your eyes on it, Bob?
This is how interested I am.
Oh wow!
Tonight.
Wow, that seems very interested. That's what I'm picking up here.
Well, here's a couple of things. Yesterday for the first time, I started to hear people talking about, well, you know what, Dante Moore might be a better prospect long term, somebody you could really mold, and maybe Tom Brady would look at it that way, out in Las Vegas, as opposed to Fernando.
Yeah.
Look, none of these guys is perfect. And in fact, I sent you a note yesterday, and I know you've done something with it, because a guy that I think we all know and trust, Robbie Sabo, did an analysis of Fernando and Mr. Mendoza's tendencies in the pocket. And I urge, I don't recommend, I urge
wow, that's a stronger word.
All you Jet fans out there to click on the link that Boy Green has put up
Yeah, it's right
not
there in the
analysis.
link right now. It just got redropped in there, folks, so you can check that out.
Because what he pointed out, and you can only see it when you see the whole film of each play and not just what you can see on television, but you can see how Fernando Mendoza has some eccentricities in the pocket when he feels pressure, not when there actually is necessarily a lot of pressure, because Indiana's offensive line is really stout. In fact, now that Miami's going to play them, I really want to see Indiana next week against Miami, because I want to see how good Indiana's line is against that fearsome, pass rushing defense that Miami has, and how Mendoza stands up to that kind of pressure. Because early on in the game last night, you could see how Ole Miss's quarterback was he was defenseless. He was getting beaten up before he took a step, after taking the snap from center. So, but anyway, if you watch the video, there is yes, not that video, but the other video.
Whoops.
Yes,
Okay.
there is integrate breakdown by Robbie Sabo of exactly how Fernando tends to feel pressure that isn't necessarily there, and he immediately, when he feels pressure, starts to move to the right or the left sideline to get out of the way. And what tends to happen is he runs into his own people, or he runs into defenders who otherwise would not have had a shot at him. So watch it. It's interesting. It's not something that, as Robbie says, he can't break, but it is something that is very concerning, because obviously what could be worse than bringing in a quarterback who can't stand up to a pass rush? Because in the NFL, that pass rush is going to be real. Although, the Jets have a good offensive line, so he should have some time. But watch that video. It's very telling. Yeah, I'm really interested in seeing tonight. I'm hoping that Dante Moore goes nuts. We can only
both, right?
We can only benefit if Dante Moore goes nuts, because if he outplays Mendoza, and it only helps us, because either that'll boost Las Vegas's interest in him, or they'll can take Mendoza anyway, and it'll maybe put a real terrific prospect right in our laps at number 2. So that's what I'm hoping for. Not that I don't want Mendoza to do well. I want to see them both thrive tonight. But my interest is, let's see how good Moore can be, especially playing this Indiana team for a second time.
Hey, you brought up Boy George earlier. Did you know there is a Boy George Jets connection, Bob? Were you aware of that?
Really?
Yeah. Shout out to Gator here. He highlighted it. Little known fact, Boy George was actually singing about the Jets and their fans in his hit song, "Do You Really Want to Hurt Me? Do You Really Want to Make Me Cry?"
He makes reference to the Jets? Wow.
Yeah, that is it. Yeah, making reference to the Jets.
That's 2 songs, because, Broadway Joe gets mentioned in American Pie.
Oh, wow. See, there you go. So, Culture Club. Come.
Because generally speaking, I think the celebrity that I relate to as far as the Jets go is Rodney Dangerfield, because he got no respect.
Oh, wow.
Neither do the Jets.
Yeah. See? So that's good.
Do you know who Rodney Dangerfield was?
Of course, the comedian. Yes, of course.
You should go on, seriously, in your free time, and I know you have so much of it.
Yes, it's overflowing.
You should sit down with your wife, go on YouTube, and watch the best of Rodney Dangerfield. You will.
I've not seen that in a couple of years, but my old intern at the radio station was a massive Rodney Dangerfield fan, so he would always bring up clips and show me. He's like, Paul, Rodney. I'm like, all right, let's watch some Rodney Dangerfield.
He's hilarious. So, anyway,
that's phenomenal.
Back to Jets football.
Yeah, the only thing I would say that would be bad that Jet fans don't want to happen is both quarterbacks stink tonight at some defensive slugfest or something. That would be terrible. But anything else is a net positive. No, I don't think so either. We saw these 2 teams already played earlier this season, and we got to see it. But I would say the more quarterbacks enter, the better. Like, for instance, Ty Simpson. I know we have some tank for Ty people in our audience, but which is interesting. It's good. It's always good to have. But more quarterbacks, the better. That could make if he's a mid first round pick, obviously that could be in play for the Jets. If he slips to the second round, we have the 33rd overall pick. maybe someone's going to want to trade for that pick for Ty Simpson. So
yeah.
that's good news for the Jets. Dante
Or
Moore
maybe-
enters. That's obvious good news for the Jets.
And this is the outside of outsides.
Okay.
Or maybe we take Dante Moore or Mendoza with the second pick.
Yep.
And with pick number 33, we take Simpson as well.
You know what? With pick 16, we should take that Chambliss kid from Ole Miss and just increase our chances, increase the odds. Let's take all quarterbacks. Just with
all I can
single
tell you is, and I've mentioned this before,
yeah,
and of course it's in my book, which I know will not show up here on the screen. Oh, there it is.
Yeah.
Is that when the Jets drafted Namath in the second round, they drafted John Ewart, who was the Heisman Trophy winner from Notre Dame. And I know your love for Notre Dame.
I do. Golden Domer, baby.
Right. And Sonny Werblin was asked about it by Sports Illustrated, and he said, frankly, I don't care which one becomes a star as long as one of them becomes a star.
I like that idea. I like that plan.
Again,
what am I holding here, Bob? What is this?
Beyond Broadway Joe, the Super Bowl team that changed football by Bob Lederer.
Wow.
Yeah, they seriously, there are so many things, again, I learned about football. If you guys out there are at all impressed by what I appear to know, you can blame it on that book, because and it was almost nothing that I learned that I didn't put in that book. Although my publisher did force me to reduce the book size from almost 700 pages to about 400 pages.
So let me ask you, Bob, does that extra book lay around somewhere that actually has its?
Oh yeah, I have the original transcript. Yeah.
How many copies of that do you have?
Oh, I have it digitally.
Oh, digitally. Oh, wow. Well, you may want to think about re-releasing the massive Bible. I don't know how that would work. I don't know all the logistics of that, but that'd be pretty cool to see what was.
We'll see. But it's in fact, that's a great idea. Not about republishing it, but kind of going through it again and pulling out some of the things that I learned. Because what really got me as I was putting the book together was, I didn't know that. Really, I didn't know that. Yeah. I didn't. And I've had some of the reviews of people who said, like one guy famously said, I've read every Jet book there is about the Super Bowl team, and I expected to learn nothing. And every second or third page, you told me something I had never heard before. So that to me was the highest compliment that somebody could pay, because I thought I knew that team pretty well. But when you speak to, probably 30 something out of the 45 players who were still alive, boy, you pick up a lot of information, and not just, I didn't like this guy or didn't like that guy, because that wasn't important to me. It was, what was the experience like? What were the circumstances? One of the most interesting things to me in writing that book is that into the 68 season, first the defensive players decided to meet every Wednesday at a local pizza joint. And actually, some of the Jet offensive players decided to join too. And more, it became an event where everybody, all the players on the team, came together and merged as one. And that was a big, big plus, for that team, because there were, Namath lovers, the offense, and there were Namath detractors on the defense, as far as personality goes. And yet they all came together and said, hey, one for the team. We want to win. We're tired of being, almost there or also Rams. Let's do this. And they did.
Hey, do you have a preference on Mendoza or Moore right now?
Yeah, right now I would take Mendoza.
As would I. But I'm open to being changed.
Alon, if you're out there, I hope you'll call in today, because you've been touting Mendoza, although you've always said he's not coming back and such. Hey, I've seen more of Mendoza. He is, as Robbie Sabo points out, he is really a complete product of the Indiana system. Because when you look at what he was doing out in California before he came to Indiana this year, he was not the same player.
Right. Of course not. No.
Yeah. But he's fit into Kurt Cignetti's system very well. And look, he's got two really good running backs and an offensive line to kill for. But the thing that impressed me early on was, hey, you put the ball in his hands in the fourth quarter, and you don't need a field goal. You need a touchdown to win the game. And 4 times he did it against top-flight collegiate competition. So, yeah, I love him as far as that goes. I love his attitude. I love that he loves football. And I love that he's got himself focused properly. I mean, I like the fact that he's so dedicated to his religion. I think that's going to keep him on the straight and narrow, which in New York can be a tough thing to do. So I think I love somebody who loves football that way. And Dante Moore is, he's 1 year plus a few games. Was it UCLA?
Yes, correct.
That he's got under his belt.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And 1 year wonders to me are not necessarily what I'm looking for, because I'd like somebody who's a little bit more polished. And I know what I just said about Mendoza, so it sounds like I'm being contradictory. But Mendoza's played a lot of college football.
Sure.
So with the right kind of coaching, I hope we've got the right kind of coaching. We'll see. You talk about hiring, investigating defensive coordinators.
Mm-hmm.
All you writers out there who love to watch Boy Green to find out what you should be writing about. Well, let's hear from you about what they're doing as far as trying to find a quarterback's coach. Because that is going to be very, very critical. That probably as much as defensive coordinator, and certainly in terms of his employment for AG, is who he picks to be the quarterback coach.
I'll be curious to see those interviews as they come. Again, when Rich Samiti joined me, whatever it was, a week ago, 2 weeks ago, something like that, I told him, hey, man, I love AG, but my massive concern is this. And I gave Rich all my reasons. Rich was like, I agree with you. And since that conversation, it looks like he's going to make a change.
It's really weird that they I don't know how much input their quarterback coach had this year, but all this preseason hoopla about we're going to let Justin Fields be Justin Fields, and we're going to turn him we're going to turn him loose as the quarterback prospect that he's always
let him play quarterback, right?
Yeah. I mean, that turned out to be a balloon with a big hole in the middle of it.
Yeah, there's two bad things with Charles, right? So if he had anything to do with it, he's fired. That was an awful result. And if he had nothing to do with it, then what the hell were you doing all year as the quarterback's coach? So either way, he should be fired. And by all accounts, multiple insiders have said they don't expect him to return. So blessed be he. So not only him being gone is a net positive, thank God, but who you replace him with. It just can't be a chair. Now, a chair apparently would be better served as a less of a net negative than Charles London, but we need a net positive. We need a stable room to be able to turn it around. Bob, let's give a shout out to all the people in the room. We have over 300 people that are watching the show this morning on January 9th. So appreciate all the people that are tuning in. Make sure you guys like the video on YouTube. That's a free way to contribute. We have a massive raffle this month. All you guys have to do is spend $3 on the channel to be eligible. You hit that money sign there on YouTube and select any option you prefer: super stickers, super chats, or gift channel memberships. Here are all the items. We have a flip coin from the New York Jets season. It comes with a certificate of authenticity. It has the beautiful Jets logo on it. We have a brand new Jets polo, brand new Jets rivalry hat, our Boy Green Woody tailgate package. If you guys missed that, we have that. And all the items from our brand new Boy Green merch shop. We have a brand new Boy Green Coffee Club and brand new Boy Green Coffee Club t-shirt. Also, we're throwing that into the mix for whoever wins. So if you spend $3, you have a chance to win all of those items. We'll be gifting that away on February 1st. The more raffle tickets you have, the better your odds. So make sure if you enjoyed the show, you support it. You have a chance to win a bunch of stuff and workshop for everybody. So God bless America. Terrific. Bob, is there anything else you want to get to before we get to the fans?
No, I want to see Hef.
Okay, let's see. I'm sure he's calling in. So without further ado, let's hit that Hep song, and we'll be back after these short messages.
1, 2, 3. Whoa! Boy Green, Bugging Daily, Bugging Daily, Bugging Daily. Talking Jets football, man. Bugging Daily, Bugging Daily, Bugging Daily. The New York Jets Football Club. Offense, defense, special teams, watch Jets football with Boy Green. Everyone,
J-E-T-S, Jets.
Boy Green, Bugging Daily, Bugging Daily, Bugging Daily. Talking Jets football, man. Boy Green, Bugging Daily, Bugging Daily, Bugging Daily. Offense, defense, special teams, watch Jets football with Boy Green.
J-E-T-S, Jets.
Let's go!
There he is. There he is in all of his glory. Who is that again, Bob? I have a short-term memory loss.
I don't know.
No. Well, let's see if we can give him a chance. Here he is.
Here's Hef.
Hey, how you doing, guys?
Hey, what's
Happy
up?
New Year,
Hef?
Hef.
Great. May an overweight rhino step on your corns. Okay.
Is that actually from the show, or did you just come?
Oh,
up
I
with
just
that
came up
yourself?
with it off the top of my head.
That felt very authentic, so thank you.
Yeah.
Hef.
Yeah, it did.
Hef.
It did. You can go on to the best of Carson, even though you weren't on.
Yeah, I liked him. So there's a couple, just kind of, I'm always trying to think outside the box a little bit. I saw that Ty
course.
Simpson's declaring this time.
Oh,
And-
thank God for that. I
Yeah.
thank the heavens.
Yeah, but I'm wondering if he falls down to the second round, do we pick up two quarterbacks? Do we get the two?
That's what I thought would be an amazing. I'll tell you what, they would get criticized up the wazoo, and they'd also be
Yes.
praised by people for taking a shot.
Yeah,
That,
I mean it's more
that would
shotgun.
just be like, again, because like if people go back to the RG3 Kirk Cousins, and that shocked people at the time, like, what is Washington doing? Like RG3 was the number 2 overall pick, and Kirk Cousins was a 4th round pick, and people were like, 4th round pick, what kind of allocation of resources? In this scenario you're referencing, Hep, is a 1st round draft choice, which is likely 2nd overall, and then like either whether it was 33 or 44, that would be bold. But I would like, there will be, to Bob's point, some initial like, Jesus. But I'm like, hey man, if one of these guys is a quarterback, then
Exactly. You know, it worked
alrighty.
out, Paul. It worked out for Washington.
Mm-hmm.
It did.
You know,
but I would, to be honest, Hef. Sorry, I'm so sorry. I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't do
Okay.
it. They have so many other needs that I don't
true.
mind taking multiple quarterbacks anywhere in the draft with 11 picks. They take Dante Moore, let's just say 2nd overall, and then who was it? Philium, I believe. Philium, I don't know if I ever got to your question. He may have even asked on Discord, and now I'm just answering it now. But he brought up the kid yesterday, Carson Beck, who had the wild journey at Georgia, and now he's at Miami. And is he an option for the Jets? And I don't know. He sort of gives me the heebie-jeebies.
I think he's staying for another year, isn't he?
I don't know. Any of these guys, I guess you don't know with all the eligibility rules.
I need your help. Let's outvote Paul right now.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh,
Seriously, it's a crazy idea, but the more I think about it, the more I love it.
Yeah.
Because
too many needs.
really,
Too many other needs.
seriously, it worked out for Washington.
It did.
You know, their first pick, he was great the first year, and then he got hurt at the end of the season.
Yeah.
And when they needed to go to the next option, they had it there. And Kirk Cousins isn't a Hall of Famer, but he's a darn good quarterback for a
He
lot.
is a darn good. But yeah, if you tell me Ty Simpson's available in the 4th round, God bless, let's roll.
No,
but second round, 33rd overall,
Hey, you know, it all depends.
Yeah, it depends.
I think he's going to get picked by somebody in the 1st round.
I think you're right. Probably.
Because I think that's why he's coming out. Because otherwise, I'd stay in and play another year.
Yeah. I
Even
think the
though
Rams might get him.
yeah, someone may get him, but like, let's be honest, right? Shador thought he got insights that he was going to be a 1st round guy, and then he wasn't. So I know Ty Simpson's family, his dad came out to an interview with ESPN. Every team we talked to said 1st round pick, Nothing else. First round pick. I'm sure they did, Pops. But
Yeah, but
you know.
Shador and his dad talked themselves out of.
No, we all
second-
understand that. I just mean that everything is not guaranteed. People slip. Geno
And
Smith
by-
was
and by
told
the
he was a
way-
first round pick. He fell to the second round. So
And
things
by the
happen.
way, all the quarterbacks that Cleveland went through this year, and at the end, Shador didn't set the league on fire, but he helped them win some games.
Yeah, he was
He's
intriguing.
He's a heck of a lot better than Cook was. I mean,
Well, if that's the bar, I guess undrafted free agent, I suppose.
well, yeah, but for a guy who's, I don't look at a 5th round pick as being a guy that you should really expect much out of.
I guess, but
mean-
wasn't he like in the Heisman conversation in his Colorado season?
Yeah, it doesn't. I don't think that means anything because that's collegiate. You
Well,
have
but that's where he came from, which is like the
but
reason he got.
you have to judge these guys on their physical and mental skills, and I think that his dad did more damage to his draft position
That's probably true.
than anything else because he not only talked him up too much and said, "Oh, he's got to be picked in the first round," and I went down to Dallas and I told them they got to draft him and that sort of thing, but he also imbued that in his kid, and the kid had. You want a quarterback with a lot of confidence.
Oh, he didn't lack that.
Yeah, but unlike the real talented guy on the Giants, you don't want a guy who's going to walk into the clubhouse and be an interfering type of personality.
Yeah. Thanks, guys.
Appreciate it, Hep. And again, I love Hep's
Thanks
ideas.
for the vote, Hef.
Yeah. Hef's ideas of creativity, and Bob's with it.
And
Again,
Jake, if you're listening, here's something for you to talk about.
Oh,
Simpson
boy. Oh,
with pick
God.
number 33.
Oh,
Or
God.
trade down and pick him with number 40.
Jake Asman would go full Jake Asman on that. I could totally see that happening.
Then he could criticize AG again.
Does he need more material? I don't know if that's
Jake always needs more material.
Okay, well, he does do 2 shows a day plus ESPN New York. I guess that's a good point. So salute to Jake Asman. God bless America. Let's keep rolling on this phone lines. You rubbed your magic genie lamp, and so he appears.
Good morning, gentlemen. How are you?
Go on.
Shabbat shalom, Bob. By the way,
Shabbat
Carson
shalom.
Beck is
I don't.
finished.
I'm going to have to watch the game on replay tomorrow. But what do you think? What do you think about tonight? The battle of the QBs.
I kind of like Oregon. I don't know why.
Ooh, okay.
Why are you worried?
What's the spread right now?
For who?
3.5.
Who are you
3.5
worried-
who?
Who are you worried
Indiana?
for?
Indiana's 3.5-point favorites. I'm rooting for Indiana,
You are
but
okay.
I think Oregon beats them. I don't know why I do. I just do.
Okay.
I think
And
this is the time.
that's good news for the Jets, right? Obviously, as Dante keeps going.
It's fine. Again,
What do you think of my? What do you think of my premise that it'd be great for the Jets if Dante just tears the place up tonight?
I still believe if Dante comes out, I think he has intel that he's going to the Raiders.
Which would then still be good for us because I love our
And
boy.
Mendoza
Come
goes
on
out.
now.
I would not be surprised if Mendoza ends up as a Jet. I will.
Alon, the greatest. What is it? Shabon Shalaf? What is that?
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Or
What
you
does that
can,
mean?
or you can say good Shabbos.
Good shot.
Oh, good Shabbos. Woohoo! Yeah.
Bob, Carson Beck is finishing up his 6th season in college. Yeah. He's
Oh,
not going back to
Jesus.
school. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah, that's what I was
wasn't-
about to say. I'm like, how much eligibility does he have left? Because
No.
I heard them on the broadcast last night. Carson Beck in like year 6 or 7. I was like,
Yeah.
what? And the guy, what
some quarterback in 2030 is going to get an extra year because he had to sit out during COVID.
Pretty much, yeah. I'm good with him. He'll be a late day 2, early day 3 guy. I have no interest in him. Not really.
What about the quarterback on Ole Miss? Do you like him?
I think there's a good chance he goes back to school. I do. I like his moxie. I worry that he's about 5'11". He's not 6 feet. I don't believe he is, but he does make all the throws. I'll give him credit. But I would not be surprised if they give him another
And he
year.
was Division II last year.
He played at Ferris State. He won a championship at Ferris State last year. Yes. Paul, let me ask you a question. How old are you, if I may ask?
I am 32. I turned 33 in April.
Okay. because I listened to you this week, and I listened to the
Thank you.
ranting and the raving,
Yes, sir.
especially after Todd McShay's
Oh, that
comments
revved
on
my
Monday.
engine. Yeah.
And I truly believe that you haven't really experienced enough Jets anguish in your life.
What?
Definitely, I'm 19 years older than you. Bob
Okay.
is a couple of years older
I'm
than
twice his age.
Oh, okay.
I don't think you realize what a shit show this organization truly is. To the point where, as much as you love the Jets, and you do,
Yes.
you are the complete Jets mark. If I were the Jets, I would hire you. You can do all the
cool.
PSAs.
Nice. That'd be fun.
You could sell season tickets to the one person who actually wants to buy it nowadays. But I appreciate your passion.
Okay.
But when McShay made that comment about players not wanting to come to the Jets,
They said every player in the draft, I think he said.
I
every
think
player in
most
the draft
players, I think there's definitely chatter amongst agents that they are going to try to avoid to go to the Jets. I really believe that.
Okay,
As much,
but give me the so give me the file. Okay, you know, I get it. You guys have more battle scars. You know, you guys have weekly meetings where you're like, look at this one. I got this one when that shark attacked me in 1974, and you're telling me all these terrible Jets memories you have. But what about the Raiders? Like, literally, this team has had 6 head coaches over the last 6 years. Jamarcus Russell was a disaster. That's their last first-round quarterback investment. The last year was awful. Their offensive line stinks. Why wouldn't anyone want to avoid the Raiders any more than the Jets? I don't pretend that the Jets are this perfect organization, and how do people not see this? Actually, I do normally pretend that. But the point is that some of these other teams are just as bad as the Jets. The Raiders stink. Why are they not getting any heat? I haven't heard a single joke go, geez, Fernando or Dante's got to avoid the Raiders. Why not?
Paul, I have 2 reasons why I would rather pick the Raiders over the Jets right now.
Okay.
Number one, I think the presence of Tom Brady is bigger than you think. I really do. I think all these players look up to Brady. He's the GOAT. As much as Jet fans don't want to admit it, he's the best quarterback in our lifetime.
Okay.
And number 2, I give the Raiders a lot of credit. As you are correct. They have shit the bed on quarterbacks year after year after year. But you know what they did? They realized after one season, they jettisoned a Super Bowl winning coach and decided it was time to start anew. Okay. Unfortunately, the Jets didn't get that memo.
They've done that twice in a row. How is that a good thing, Alon? Twice in a row, they've won and done coaches with Antonio Pierce and Pete Carroll. That's a good thing.
But you know what? I actually have more confidence in the coaching staff that they are going to assemble than what we have in our room.
Alon, that doesn't make any sense. You can't crystal ball. You know what they
haven't hired anyone, and you like that anyone over what we have? How does that make sense?
I like anybody over what we have right now. And there's word right now that Dable will be the OC and Flores will be the head coach. And if I was a quarterback right now coming into the league, would I rather be coached by Brian Dable or Tanner Engstrand? Brian Dable worked wonders with Josh Allen. Tanner Engstrand has done nothing in the league. Okay, that's
Patriots West End. Didn't they try that already with Ziegler and McDaniels and all that crap? And now they're just going to do it again with a reshuffled Etch-a-Sketch Patriot player?
Dable is really good with quarterbacks. Do I think he actually is going to be a head coach anytime soon? No. I think his MO is to be an OC and to be a guy who works with quarterbacks. Trust me, I'd love him to be our OC. I really have very little confidence in Tanner Engstrand. But again, you have not experienced enough crap in your Jets fandom to the point where I live here in Dallas. I have friends of different organizations. Mm-hmm. And when I tell them that I'm a Jet fan, the look on their face is comical. First of all, they feel bad for me. Then they laugh in my face. And they're like, why don't you change teams? I've had that many a times. Okay. Mm-hmm. So when Todd McShay, and I'm not going to say you're wrong. I think he has a vendetta against the Jet organization.
Yes, it seems that way.
Based on his relationship with Dunkin' Donuts Douglas. But again, the Jets are a shit show. They continue to be a shit show. And they are the only team right now in the top 6 of the draft that decided to keep their head coach.
That is a crazy stat. That's a crazy stat.
Yeah. It's laughable. Okay. But again, I truly believe if Dante Moore remains in the draft, I think he has intel that he'll be a Raider. I really
What
do.
are the chances? What are the chances Dante Moore stays in the draft, in your opinion? If you had to put a percentage.
Nowadays,
right now, because we don't know
right
obviously what's going to happen tonight. Right now,
you've preached to us for months that
I
he's
think
staying in Oregon.
I think right now it's about 50-50.
Do you think it matters how he performs tonight and
I don't think it unless he goes all out in the next 2 games. First of all, I think if Oregon wins tonight, it's based on their defense and their running game. I don't think that he's going to be as special as you think tonight. I think they're going to be effective on the ground and with their defense to win tonight. But again, I think it's 50-50 that he comes out.
50 is a great number. 50 is a great number because 50 is how many $1 million guaranteed he would have if he came out and was the number 2 overall pick to the Jets. $50 million guaranteed. And he can't, what is he going to prove his draft stock from 2nd overall to 1st overall in a stronger quarterback class? Like I just don't understand. And Alon, you made a point last week that, hey, he could get better. He could, or he could not. There's plenty of quarterbacks that got back that have not gotten better.
But again, I think quarterbacks, and I mentioned this on Jake's show, and we argued about this. I think quarterbacks who are getting drafted up high, as much as they're thinking about their first contract, they're thinking about their second contract. And I think a guy like Dante Moore, who are looking at the Jets organization with Darnold, who was a top 5 pick, and Zach Wilson, who was a top 5 pick, they were gone fast. And he's thinking, I'm thinking about the $250 million I'm making in my second contract as much as I'm thinking about the $50 million I'm making on the first contract.
But doesn't he get to that sooner if he enters the draft? If he waits another year, that's another year delayed of potentially even getting that.
If I was his reps, I would rather go to an organization where there's more synergy between quarterback and coach. And I don't know if there is right now.
If he stinks, so let's excuse me, not if he stinks. Dante Moore, he goes back to school. He comes back next year. Spoiler alert, the teams at the top of the draft are also going to stink. There is not unlikely going to be a Chiefs, a Rams, a something with a top 5 pick that he just, I've just fell into this awesome team. He's going to go to another, if he doesn't want the Jets, he'll go to a different shitty team next year that also it doesn't have a perfect infrastructure for a quarterback or offensive line or this, that, or the other. No matter what, there's going to be warts on whoever this team is because they have a terrible pick for a reason. They earned it more times than not, outside of a rare circumstance where a future first was traded and a good team just happens to stumble upon that sort of draft selection. So I just don't get it.
If he wasn't 20 years old, I would understand what you're saying. I think he still has work to do. I think he needs to hone his craft a little more. That's why when people are like, the Jets should think about Ty Simpson in the first round, he's 23 years old with 15 starts. No, thank you. Okay. He will never work here. Again, he should go to the Rams, sit for about 2 years, start at age 25. That's fine. If I'm Dante Moore and I have the ability to work on my craft, I think he has 15 starts himself as a collegian. Yeah. I would, as much as people like $50 million, and trust me, that's definitely a good reason to leave. I'm thinking to myself, I would rather finish my development in college rather than sit on the bench in New York watching quarterbacks play. And unfortunately, if he came to the Jets and the Jets start off 1-6, let's say, and AG, who's going to be in dire need and keeping his job, might throw him out there, and that would completely destroy him. In my opinion, if he comes out, I think he sits the entire year. I would sit him the entire
Which I'm fine. Me and you are in concert. I have no issue with that.
If I was him, I would rather hone my skills, continue my development at Oregon, get my $7 to $10 million this next year from my Nike, and come out in the 27 draft, be a top 7, 8 pick and be fully developed.
Alon, how old are you, did you say?
How old am I?
Yes.
I'm 51.
Okay. So that's a very mature answer, Mr. 51-year-old. 20-year-old Dante Moore, I know I could have $50 million, but, I think I'm going to marinate. I think I'm going to take 8 to 10. That's close. I'm going to take that and develop. I'm going to fully see the picture because that's what 20-year-olds do. That's the kind of decision. He's going to see the money. The cold hard cash. Show me the money. That's
but
what
again,
on the other hand, he grew up in a real football family. His mom and dad were big college football fans, one for Michigan, one for Ohio State. So they're tuned in. They're tuned into football. Now, whether they're really paying a lot of attention, to pro football, they probably have a feel for what's been going on with the Jets, and they might also have a feel for what's going on with Oakland. But I think you make a great point, Alon, about Brady. Brady can obviously be very influential, whether or not he really
can he be?
Well,
he had it. Okay. So Tom Brady made the full court press to go hire Ben Johnson last year.
Yep.
Ooh, Tom Brady, and Ben Johnson said, "Yeah, thanks, but no thanks. I'll go to Chicago." So I think the Tom Brady aura of recruitment isn't quite what it was. How is that not the same thing? You recruited him. He gave him the full court.
It was not the
Tom
same.
Brady.
It was not the same thing because he was going to come to Chicago no matter what. He was mentally committed to Chicago. In fact, he paid special attention when they played the Bears last year twice.
Right. Yeah.
As to what he saw, what was going on, particularly with the Bears quarterback. So I think he is not just a wild card, but he could be an influential wild card. But I agree. I also agree with you, Paul, when you look at the show that Oakland / Las Vegas has put on for the last 6 years. It's really going to matter, who they hire as a coach, and who's going to be his developmental guy. And that's why I say that for AG, it's just about as important, maybe more important, to pick the right quarterback coach who's got the reputation and the evidence of actually bringing along young quarterbacks. And I'm more convinced than ever, draft Simpson at number 33 in the second round.
And
hedge your bets. Get two of the guys.
I don't think he'll get to 33. I think.
I don't think so either. But I think it's a very interesting concept. And if nothing else, it'll give Jake something to talk about. Alon, well, let me ask you about, because you've been kind of wishy-washy about Mendoza. What do you think of Mendoza's skill sets?
I think he is in the perfect situation at Indiana. I think he's been coached exemplary with Cignetti. I worry about his lack of athleticism. I like Mendoza. I don't love Mendoza. I think Mendoza has holes in his game.
He's not Andrew Luck, and he's not Tom Brady.
No, people have said Matt Ryan. I think he's more Kirk Cousins. I think he, in a clean pocket, which he's had a clean pocket throughout the entire year. He's had the ability to find open receivers. I think what's beneficial for him is he has two really good running backs. He has a fantastic offensive line. I've seen him in some games where he struggled. Again, I thought he didn't play well in the Penn State game for 3.5 quarters. He did not play well for most of the Iowa game as well. I think he's mature. I think he'd be a fun watch because I don't think he would be fazed by the New York or the Vegas spotlight. But do I think he's the be all end all? No. I think he's fine. I think he has a chance to be a mid-tier quarterback in the league.
Yeah, he'd be a vast improvement over what the Jets have had for probably
not saying much
years.
And one final comment before I go.
Yes, sir.
I followed the Moore development throughout the year. I love watching college football. And I remember reading a story about Dante Moore's parents. And they had mentioned that they have been in real close contact with Dan Lanning and the Oregon staff about how important it was for them that their son gets fully developed. And to me, it reeks of a family that isn't really all in just for the money. I think they want to see their kid be successful when he leaves college to go to the pros. And so people continue to mention 50, $60 million, which is great. I think there is a plan at Oregon of him coming back for another year. I know that the OC is going to be the new head coach at Kentucky, and I think they said that Moore has approved the guy who has replaced him as the new OC. I think it's important for him to get fully developed. And if he comes out, I think he's going to be a Raider. I really believe it. I don't think he's going to be a Jet. I don't.
Yeah, I just want to say that, Alon, there is something to what you just said at the back end of, you said you followed the Dante Moore story, and you shared that about his parents. Again, that takes us back to Olumuyiwa at Penn State, and James Franklin. They told this story on his Origins documentary, where James Franklin brings this binder and gets all this information from the teams. They have basically player exit meetings with these guys, and he recommended to Olumuyiwa, dude, head to the draft. You've clear that's our recommendation. You're going to be a top 10 pick. You need to go right now. And then his parents are the ones that said, absolutely not. This kid is graduating. They had greater plans for what they wanted to happen. We don't care about the money. That's this thing. And James Franklin went, yes, ma'am. I just think, 1 second, Bob, that just with that, there are sometimes, to your point, that even if it's obvious to everyone else in the universe, $50 million or this, which is what Rich has said, and he said he'd be surprised. But again, there's more information to come, that sometimes there are decisions beyond the obvious that families make that are in. So we have to leave some percentage chance, whatever that is true, despite the very tempting thing that would be sitting there. Because again, all these guys, for those who don't know, when you're making a decision to potentially go from college to the pros, the NFL, or whatever that committee is called, gives you draft grades and tells you where they believe you're going to go, the best guess, because it's not a guarantee. So yeah, that is possible. Go ahead, Bob.
Let me read to you what kind of economic background he grew up in. Okay, he was raised primarily by his father, a single dad who worked at multiple jobs. Okay. The family motto was hard work never fails. His upbringing was defined by hard work and resilience rather than affluence. His background that influenced his character. Last year, with the money that he got from the NIL, he donated $10,000 of it to his high school in Detroit.
Cool.
So money doesn't, necessarily drive him, but 50 million is a lot to look at. And hey, there's no guarantee that he wouldn't get hurt next year.
Of course.
I think he'll come out because of the money, but I'll also stick to what I said before, and that is I'd like him to have 2 sensational games tonight and
100%.
next week. It'll only enhance the Jets situation, and AG better get himself a really top flight quarterback coach, because if he doesn't, I think everybody has a right to say we're doomed. If he just brings in somebody rather than someone who's really got a track record.
Thank you very much, guys. And again, the NFL is not for long, and that's what it would be for Dante Moore to be a Jet. Have a good one, guys.
You too.
Alon, if this whole whatever job you do, I'm not really sure whatever it is, motivational speaker could be another career choice for Alon. It could be a motivational.
We were privileged.
It was our pleasure, from what I'm told. It was our pleasure. All right, let's keep going down the phone lines. We've got 400 people in the room. Appreciate everybody that's tuning in to this daily Jets video show, Boy Green Daily. Thank you so much. Up next is Troy Sturgis here on the program. Troy?
Morning, guys.
Morning, Troy.
Hey, have a sneaky suspicion that Harbaugh might be headed to Miami.
Yeah.
Harbaugh might be what?
Headed to Miami.
Yep.
Very possible.
I do believe that that's a possibility. That I don't think he wants to go to Oakland and be in the same division as his brother. And as far as who don't want to go to Miami, I mean, no taxes. so even better. And then
And
coming from
apparently his daughter
Baltimore,
goes to
going
school down
Miami.
there. So again, this is sort of goes back to what we are just talking about Dante Moore. There are extracurricular things that we don't think about that are at play. Again, his daughter being down there in Florida going to college would be a neat thing, I would assume, for a dad in his 60s to go down there to get more time with his daughter naturally. So that could be a factor. The one I would say, the one team you haven't mentioned so far, maybe you were going to mention them, is the Giants. Apparently they are all in our Harbaugh. So maybe there's something there. But no, if you're a Jets fan, there is legitimate fear to say, oh boy, Chad Alexander is the former Jets director of pro personnel, was with the Ravens forever, and now the current assistant GM with the Chargers, could link up with his old buddy Harbaugh and go down to Miami, where currently Chad Alexander is a finalist. So that is a little hint. If the GM hire is supposed to happen somewhere in the next 36 hours for Miami, if Chad Alexander becomes the new GM for Miami, that could be a strong hint that Harbaugh is following. Not a guarantee, but a strong hint it could happen.
Well, it will take time anyway because they're going to have to go through the protocol of all the different potential hires.
For the coaches, right. The GM hire is about to happen. They've crossed all the boxes for GM, so now they just got to pick a guy.
I wonder what his analysis, of Miami's quarterback would be, because everybody else seems to think that he's a goner.
Yeah, terrible would be my assessment. Yeah, I think two is gone for sure, but we'll see on who the head coach is.
Troy, what do you think? What do you think of Troy? What do you think of Moore versus Mendoza?
Well, I think Moore actually is. I believe he's going to actually come out because $50 million. I mean,
that's crazy.
They say development. Okay, well, you developed up to get a contract for $50 million. Right. I mean, that's plenty of development for me. So,
right. I see this comment in here. Jamal Joseph says, because I brought up $50 million. Ritz Samini said that is the confirmed number that Dante Moore would get if he was a second overall pick. Guaranteed. No offset, no nothing. That is $50 million guaranteed in your pocket. And Jamal Joseph responds, all money ain't good money, BG. Jamal, if we each had $50 million sitting here and they said, hey, do this, I don't know what wouldn't be on the list of things I wouldn't do to get $50 million. Yeah, pushing people, killing people. $50 million? I would, all of my ethics and morals would be thrown out the window for $50 million. So all money ain't good money. That's an easy thing to say, Jamal, when you don't have $50 million.
And you know what? Nobody has said it yet, but there might be amongst some of these quarterback potentials, the guy who says to himself or whose family says to him, you know what? If you can turn that franchise around after everything they've gone through, you would be the king of New York. And talk about $50 million. That would be nothing compared to
sure, right, correct, yeah.
And also, you got to think about how young he is. How many
He's
contracts
20.
could how many contracts could this kid come up with? I mean,
100%.
I mean, future contracts in the.
No, I understand what you're saying. Yeah, 100%, right? 25-year deal, 3-year deal, 3-year deal, 100%. He could make buco crazy money if he believes in himself, which I imagine a lot of these quarterbacks do.
And I got a couple questions.
Yes, sir.
What about Mike McDaniel as offensive coordinator? I see the Lions have already reached out. Why are we not reaching out and just getting an interview with him and putting Tanner as the quarterback coach?
Yeah, it's a good question. Would it be possible to demote your offensive coordinator? Would that be, in terms of work environment of someone, you stay in the room, you don't get fired, you stay in the room, but have a lesser role and someone takes your job? I'm curious how that would work. I don't know. Mike McDaniel is, to your point, already has been reached out to by the Lions. He's going to be reached out to by the Commanders. Apparently, the Eagles were mentioned. They may make a switch from Kevin Patullo to go get another guy. McDaniel's been mentioned there. Kingsbury's been mentioned all over the place. So he will have no shortage of suitors. No question about it. I'm curious. And Robert Saleh, that was another one that came out, that if Robert Saleh gets an HC gig, Mike McDaniel is going to follow him to be his OC. So similar to Harbaugh in a different way, that there is a lot of competition and there's no guarantee you can get him. So I'd be curious for them to talk to him. And we will see, but I'm not sure if he would take the interview knowing that Tanner was here. So you would probably have to do something with Tanner. Someone said that earlier. I can't remember if that was Bob or a different caller or somebody else that said about whether someone would interview at a place where the job isn't open and what goes into that. I don't know if McDaniel, right? They say, hey, you want to come in for quarterback coach? And he'd be like, LOL, no. So even if it's for something greater, so that may prove it difficult. But he's a creative mind. As a head coach, I think he's mediocre. As an offensive coordinator, I think he's very creative.
As a fan, I would like to see AG go ahead and look at the offensive coordinator position and the defensive coordinator, and the three offensive coordinators, Mike McDaniel, Brian Dable, and even the Brian Callahan. And then on the defensive side, we got Wink, and I'd like to see the Raheem Morris be interviewed as well, and hopefully just turn I think our fans would be in much better. What am I thinking? They would tend to agree with AG a little bit more and seeing how he's trying to rebuild this thing again.
Yeah, a stronger staff would help the vision, I think, for the fans to see, like, whoa, okay, here we go.
Callahan is more of an offensive line.
No, that's his father. That's Bill versus Brian. Brian was the Tennessee coach.
But does Brian have that kind of rep as an offensive coordinator?
Yes, that's how he got the Tennessee Titans head coaching job. Yeah. So I haven't heard. It's interesting you bring up Troy. Brian, Bill's father. Bill was a longtime offensive line guru. Brian was his son.
In fact, the Jets tried to bring him back in, and he said, "No, I'm going to work for my son."
Which I don't blame him at all. That's a beautiful thing to be able to do.
But we seem to have a pretty good, offensive line coach now. So
right. No, so I don't think Bill would be a package. But Brian's interesting as an offensive name of some kind to add to the room, Troy. That I haven't heard.
Anyway, hey guys, I got to get back to work. Thanks for taking my call.
Thanks,
have
Troy.
a great weekend.
Appreciate you. Yeah, Brian Callahan is a name that obviously was fired from the Titans middle of the season, but I've heard him nowhere. So I like the different names that we're discussing. I had not given Brian Callahan much thought as a name for the room, but okay, that's creative. I like that. All right, let's keep going down the phone lines. Up next is Philly Doodles, Professor Philly Doodles.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning,
Professor.
Guys.
Hello, Professor.
Yep. Thank you. Before I begin my class, I do want to refer to let's talk about that money real quick.
Let's talk about that money.
Put it up on the whiteboard. Put it up on the whiteboard.
That cheddar. That's straight cash. Yeah.
So no conference room today, no whiteboard.
Let's do a quick what room are you in right now? The living room?
Yeah, the living room. Correct.
Okay, you need to add that to the living room. You're
I have a Jets whiteboard that I used a couple years back on an episode with Jake. It's somewhere in the garage.
Okay, we got to dust that off.
Take down the family picture and put up the whiteboard.
100% priorities, man. Priorities. But anyway,
actually, like a hidden one, like behind the TV that I pull
out.
Yeah,
that you flip it, like you almost have like a remote. Boop boop.
Yeah.
Okay, so please, you can continue with your dissertation, please.
All right, so let's begin the session. Let's give three scenarios. I'll ask both of you guys. Okay. Dante Moore declares. Chances he's drafted by the Raiders before the Jets. What's your likelihood?
30%, maybe.
Bob, what do you think?
Let's see what he does the next game or two. I really believe if he tears it up, the Raiders are going to look at it. The Raiders are going to look at him and say, depending, of course, who they get as an offensive coordinator and quarterback coach. I didn't think there was any possibility, but now as I see what's going on and I hear there's a chance, even a 30% chance, which you just said, I think if he tears it up tonight and next week, if he were to play next week, I think the whole scenario changes.
Sure.
I think he gets drafted by the Raiders. Okay. So let's say he decides I'm listening to Todd Mache and his bullshit. And because for some reason, Todd Mache holds all the answers in life's great enigma. And his reports are so valid. And he goes with his opinion, and maybe he listens to his family, and he goes back because Allen thinks he has the ear of the OC, and he hires the OC. So he does that, and he goes back, and he's all right. He does good. Okay. Let's say that happens.
Okay.
And then he comes out and he declares, and now he's got to go against Archie and whatever the heck.
Julian
What do you think?
saying, the Ohio State
Yeah,
guy. Yep, yep.
Julian's saying. I forgot about that guy. Wow, there's a couple more. Right? So, what say you that he gets drafted? What position you think he can get drafted next year?
Somewhere around 15th.
Really?
Well, he's getting I'm fucking. Excuse me. I'm busting his balls a little bit, but man, you have to say, yeah, could I be the number 2 overall quarterback and $50 million richer? Sure, but boy, I could be $25 million not as rich. I'd be $25 million poorer and go back next year in a stronger quarterback class, and I'd love to be 9th. I don't know,
Bob, what do you
think about all the guys, Arch, Julian, there's a lot of guys.
I don't think that anybody has a crystal ball that could really tell you, because this year was supposed to be, full of bona fide quarterback prospects that were really going to excite the NFL. And neither of these 2 guys right now is your franchise, savior, at least not from where we're looking at now. That both of them, well, I think more potentially because he's so young and has so much more that he could learn and improve. And athletically, he's better athletically than Mendoza is.
Yeah.
It'd be really hard. I mean, somebody said yesterday, I think it was on Jake's show that I was listening to, that if Arch Manning decided that he was coming out now, he would become the number 1 draft pick.
That's what several analysts have said. Yes,
based on the last 2 or 3 games he's played.
Yeah, Orlovsky and many others.
Which is
Nate Tice,
ridiculous,
right?
Which is ridiculous. But
So,
I wouldn't.
all right.
Yeah, but I wouldn't put it beyond anybody.
So that's a second. That's a second straight punt from Bob Lederer there. Okay,
so,
what's your next one?
So let's say, and the last thing that could happen, let's say he doesn't declare, he goes out and then he just tears an Achilles, breaks his ankle, rolls his knee the wrong way, breaks an arm, injures his rotator cuff. Let's continue the list of things he can get injured. Maybe he puts a policy on his body parts. With all the $10 million he could get from Phil Knight, what 50 versus 10 versus a $40 million surplus in the bank, it's signed and sealed and delivered, is crazy, right? So, all right, I say all that because that could happen too, right? I say all that where likelihood is if he comes out now, he can go to the Raiders, so he'd be a number 1 overall pick, right? Let's say that could happen, or he can go to the Jets.
Yep.
Let's say he comes out next year. And he decides, I'm going to declare, obviously, and he's got to go against all these other guys. And let's say, man, for some reason, call me crazy, I don't think the Jets are going to have a great winning season next season. I wish the best and hope for the best. But let's say they only win about, 6 games. Maybe they double what they did. Glenn keeps his job, or he doesn't.
Progress, baby. There you go.
Yeah.
Nice.
Let's say he doesn't even keep his job. I'm not even care who the head coach is at that point, right? I'm not saying that as a fan. I'm saying as a business. And we're analyzing this as business.
Of course.
As a GM. Professor. I'm a GM.
Yes, of course. Yes.
What says Dante Moore to say that Darren Muji's still in place or anybody else loves this guy so much? And they say, well, we're not going to go get Archie because we know he's going number 1. But that Dante Moore, damn, he might be second fiddle again another year. I got 3 fucking first-round picks next season. Maybe I just want Dante Moore. Dante, I'm sorry, buddy. I'm selecting you and selling the farm. It don't matter what he wants to think. If he's going to become a Jet, he's going to become a Jet. Only the Manning family has had the gravitas and nut sack to decide where they're going to go like they did with Eli because it's nepotism. We know it. They're on ESPN. They're all over the world. He's beating out Jersey Mike commercials against Danny DeVito, for God's sakes, Eli. They can do whatever they want. They can slap the president and it would be okay right now. I hope people need to understand that. So I am not worried about where Dante Moore thinks he's going to go. It's where he's just going to get drafted.
Hey,
and the Jets have the surplus to do it next year, excuse me. They can do whatever they want and go get him. You can't avoid your whatever's going to happen is going to happen. You
That
just hope
would
for
be
the best.
hilarious. That would be hilarious. That if we find out through a whisper, like, because again, Alon says that if Dante Moore goes back, it would be an indictment of the Jets. It would be a clear, hey, fuck you, buddy, to the Jets. And that if it goes full circle, and again, sure, in your example you gave, the Jets could be terrible, they could have a top pick, or the Colts could be terrible, they have a top pick, or the Packers or Cowboys, whichever one is better, they could have a terrible season. And then one of those could end up being that pick, and there would be nothing more hilarious of Dante Moore going, shit, I'm going to the Jets anyway.
And we have 3.
100%.
We have 3 to do what we want. Go ahead, Bob. I'm sorry.
Here's a thought: Eli Manning for quarterback coach.
Hey.
Wow.
Everybody will come here. Archie will go right. Archie will be like, I want to be a Jet. Can you imagine that scenario? Just flip the Todd McShay would go bald. He lose hair faster than Kuiper. His hair would go completely bald.
Today.
To be honest,
in the second round, and Arch Manning and Eli as the quarterback coach.
With all due respect, I'm not sure if I want Eli. Like, Eli had a wonderful career, but he was never a Pro Bowler, never an All-Pro. He had as many losses as he had wins.
He
as
only
a
won
quarterback,
2 Super Bowls.
117. He did. Does he know how to teach that and put that in a bottle and sell it? If not, then I'm probably good. If Peyton wanted to be a quarterback coach, okay, Peyton, your pre-snap reads and ability.
Peyton is too busy making commercials, and as a matter of fact, Eli is too.
To be honest, I probably prefer Cooper. If I could have Peyton, I'd probably prefer Cooper over Eli. If I had to pick a Manning brother, I'd actually probably avoid Eli there. Yeah, no offense.
I'll say this. You guys touched already on it. It's the QB coach. You got to get that right. At the beginning of the season, I said, Charles London, see what he could do. He didn't even they could have gotten Drew Luck as even competition in the damn locker room. A guy he worked with just before with Seattle. Like nothing. Like nobody came from anywhere. It was all right. We have Tyrod here. Fine. There was no competition. Whoever you bring in competition and get a real QB coach guy. I would love Josh McCown to jump ship and come to us. You know what I mean? It would be, I think, wonderful.
Yeah, sure.
Because maybe he spent enough time with Kevin O'Connell, and maybe he could, rub off of his whatever the hell, maybe whatever magic lamp he's got over there. It makes every QB great. I don't even know. Whoever you draft, just send to Kevin O'Connell. Send him, Venmo him $1 million. Be like, whatever you're doing over there, just do it to him, and then give him back to us. Don't tell nobody it happened. Go on some other retreat, not darkness, like lightness. Go to the light retreat where everything's just beautiful and everything looks like a perfect spiral or some shit. I don't know. I'm getting bugged out at this point because something's got to give, and I think hiring staff is going to mean everything before we get into the free agency. So
I'm looking forward to it. Not only are we going to react to the interview request for DC, of course, but who they start sniffing around for. Again, hopefully they're looking at the right guys. That they're not interviewing a Charles London level guy. We have to convince ourselves, like, that could work. Like, hopefully it's just obvious. Like, it's like, whoa. Like, again, this guy wouldn't do it and he just retired. But like Tom Moore, I have his book back here. Oh, there it is. It's right there. The players coach. Tom Moore just retired. He's one of the greatest QB offensive whisperers of all time. He just retired with the Buccaneers. So not him, but that maybe that's way too high, but like that kind of thing where it's just unquestioned. I don't have to go, who's Tom Moore? Like we know whoever that person is equivalent to the Jets. That would be marvelous. Philly Doodles, another excellent session here, and we look forward to the next class.
Bob, I want to be backwards hat Bob with you. We want wins this season, so let's make the backwards hat be a thing again.
Hey, one last thought that just occurred to me, and that is,
yes, sir.
My mind just disappeared on me.
Okay,
yes,
let me.
Yes,
okay, go ahead.
I don't want to just read about defensive coordinator interviews. I want to read now about quarterback interviews. I don't want it to be second after we get a DC. I don't think we can afford to put it off.
No, I think they can do interviews. They're enough. They can do interviews at the same time. Here's for you, Phil.
Jets, Jets.
Yes. Yeah.
I may be the only one who's tired of that.
Yeah. We'll ask the people as we're coming along. Let's go next. We got him back. The Don Tony Teflon is back. Teflon TV, baby.
What's going on? I appreciate you guys having me on, but I am here to put some facts
Oh,
into
facts.
these rumors. You know, Elon and these other YouTubers, they like to spit these things out there and these talking points, and they sound very good, but they leave out things in them, which is very misleading. So the stat that they like to spit that I keep hearing now is all these coaches got fired, right? And we are the only one that kept the coach that had a bad record.
Yep.
But they leave out the fact, and I'll ask you, how many years have those coaches been there that got fired?
So let's see. Raiders. So Pete Carroll was 1. So we're at 2. It obviously wasn't us. Cardinals. Jonathan Gannon just completed year 3. Who else do we got in there? So Giants. I'll jump over to that one. That was 5, and that was another year 3 guy there. Who else am I missing here? Brian Callahan was year 2. So it's a Titans guy. I'm probably missing one more that I'm not thinking of, but yeah.
But
so most of them not first year guys.
The point is that most of those guys who got fired, in fact, 99%, because only one of them had 1 year. Everyone else had multiple years that got fired. So when you look at the whole thing, if Glenn had multiple years, then their argument would be more valid. That's the case. Pete Carroll is an older coach. He got fired because he was always a transitional coach. That was his plan. They were never going to keep him. Aaron Glenn's a young man. They're going to keep him there for a little bit longer. And number 2, I would just like to say about this money that people keep talking about this money. If he's going to get $10 million, you got to take the taxes out of this whole situation. So he's only going to get $5 million. Now, if you're getting 50 and you take half of it out, you're getting 25. 25 million is a lot more than 5 million, right? If we're going 50%, so you're just taking out the money, right? Taxes, right? So the taxes are always a factor. And people, even if you got 5 million down there, 2.5 million after taxes is not the same as 25 million. It's a humongous difference.
That math tracks. That math makes sense. Yes.
You know, that man.
There's Tony, there's more math behind that. Number 1, he gets more if he's the first pick than if he's the second pick.
Sure.
Secondly, the New York taxes are much greater than the taxes in Nevada. And that has to play into it as well. It should, if you have any common sense.
100%. 100. I agree with you there. But in the end, he's getting more to come out. And it's anything could happen to you when you stay in. Now, as for this Aaron Glenn thing, I look at it like, and when you play in New York, it's a different beast. Eli Manning is going to the Hall of Fame because he played in New York. If he had the same career anywhere else, he would not be going to the Hall of Fame.
He won 2 Super Bowls. That's pretty good.
But it was more important in New York than if that was in Arizona.
Yeah, if he would have won 2 Super Bowls in Arizona or Seattle, it would not have been the same as winning in New York. That's why
why look at what's his name who played for Arizona, for the Cardinals, and for the Giants, and for what's his name?
Kurt Warner. You're talking about Kurt Warner?
Yeah, because he got elected to the Hall of Fame but
he didn't win the Super Bowl in Arizona.
No, he only won.
He just went to the Super Bowl.
He won in St. Louis. He won it in St. Louis.
Yeah,
he did.
Yeah. He came back to work for the NFL Network or ESPN because he wanted to get into the Hall of Fame, and he did.
Well,
and I don't think he was a Hall of Fame quarterback.
He's not. He wasn't a Hall of Fame. You're exactly correct.
I put Eli in before I put him in.
Yeah, no, and Eli's not. When you look at the stats, he's not a Hall of Fame quarterback. But you do it in New York. When you look at all these guys, these hosts that are on the air, they're all New York. Bart Scott played for the Ravens much longer than the Jets. He had one tagline with the Jets, never won, but he's a bigger star because he played in New York, and that's really what happened there. And that's what it is. So that's the New York ability. Now, as for the last thing I'll say real quick is this:
yes, sir.
If the Mets hired Keith Hernandez and he had a bad year, they're not going to fire him in 1 year. If the Yankees hired Don Manley and he had a bad year, you wouldn't hire him 1 year. All these fans saying, "Oh, like you don't remember the pain." Aaron Glenn is one of us. He's one of us. He played for us. He bled for us. I'm just saying, give the man the hometown break, and not a total vote of confidence, but he's one of us. He understands the Jets fans. He is a Jets fan. He chose to come here. He had other opportunities. He chose to come to the Jets. So why not give our hometown guy a little bit of leeway and allow the man to cook? And if he doesn't get it done next year, then we can talk all about it. And then he will be gone. But give the hometown guy some chance to cook here, people. Give the guy a chance to build his own team out, and let's see what happens then. And then we can truly judge what he is. Because if it was any other place, you can go if Patrick Ewing went to the Knicks, if Michael Jordan went to the Bulls and coached, and they had bad years, if Magic Johnson did coach for the Lakers, he left, but he left on his own. And Larry Bird did coach for Indiana, and he left on his own. But they would not throw them out, and fans wouldn't be screaming, get them out after 1 year, because they're legends and they did it for us. Remember, these guys, they care just as much as us, if not more, when they play for the team for us to win. And I've been, and as Elon said, you haven't been out there. I remember the Browning Nagel undefeated preseason and going in there. Oh, Browning Nagel! Oh, we got it this year and winning nothing
instead of Brett Favre.
So I remember it all. I'm from Queens, New York, right? So I remember it all.
So am I.
That's what's up. Flushing, New York, right here. Flushing, New York is right.
Same am I.
There
Love
we go.
it.
We're
Love
from the
it.
same neighborhood, so you know what it is. You know what it is.
Hey, where did you grow up in Flushing?
I grew up on 164th Street and Jewel Avenue, right by the right by Jib Lanes.
Okay, well, I grew up by Bound High School.
You live right by John Bound, so right across from Queens College.
Yep.
Yeah, so that's where I'm at. So if you come through Queens College and you cross Casino Boulevard, there's a place called Electchester where it's all.
Oh yeah, no. I know that because my dad was an electrical contractor, and so he
that's
took
where
me
I
up
grew
to
up.
that building a number of times.
Yes, I grew up in Electchester. My father was an electrician. I grew up right there in Electchester, right there.
Oh, that's awesome.
Harry Van Alsdale set up for all the electricians and
So
stuff.
we're brothers from another mother.
We are, without a shadow of a doubt. Grew up right there. Judd Hirsch is from there too, and Bobby Bonilla is from there too.
Hey.
So
Hey, Tony, really good. It's great to meet you, Tony.
it's great to meet you too, and thank you for having me on. But please just give our hometown guy just a little bit of
Tony.
Yes, sir.
Read my book.
There you go.
I'll buy your book.
You know what? You will. I do this, and I'll do it for anybody that calls in. I will give you a guarantee. If you don't really like the book, I'll give you the money back. I will give you your money back.
Is there any way you could send me an autograph copy if I send you the money?
If you order the book, work it through me, and the book can be sent to me. I can sign it, and then I can forward it to you.
All right, we can do that.
Tony Teflon, reach out to me and I'll give you some contact info for Bob, and we'll make that happen, baby.
All right, I appreciate it, and I appreciate
Have a great weekend, Tony.
You too. You too. Let's go, Jets.
There he is, the Don, Tony Teflon. By the way, an immediate super chat coming in for the Don, which we appreciate. Also get to your guys' memberships coming through. Look at this. The Don has spoken, baby.
Wow.
For live. Love the Don, Tony Teflon. Teflon TV, baby. AG all day. And that's it. And so many people have said, like, a response. Like, we're like, AG. And they're like, and the responses from people, well, if he wasn't a Jet legend, then you wouldn't care of this. Again, I always say, if my sister had a something, then she'd be my brother. So, like, you know what? It happened. It's part of the equation. It's part of the, it's part of the Teflon.
I didn't want to confront him on it. I don't believe in holding on to him because he's a great Jet player.
No. But that gives you a little bit of wiggle room.
You got to give a guy more than a year, especially if you're hiring a first-time coach and you're expecting him, to learn on the job, which I think they really expressly did.
Yeah, for sure. And we have a lot of memberships flowing through. I see T-Town Jet gifted a Boy Green Coffee Club membership. Let's go. Not the only one. DNY for life. Your buddy Devin gifting a 5-pack of
Devin,
Boy Green
where are
Coffee
you? You've skirted me ever since you lost 2 bets with me.
I'm sure he's coming. Let's go, baby. Here we are. Love the memberships flying in.
That's what I do know. We're the freaking New York Jets, so we're built for this shit.
God, I hope so. AG, God, I hope so. That has been a trip. All right, that is 6 raffle tickets for our guy, Devin. Let's read all the new members to the Boy Green Coffee Club. So Rico the Pup just got a membership from T-Town Jets, so congratulations, Rico. Welcome back to the Boy Green Coffee Club. Appreciate you. And then DIY for Life gifted 5 memberships. That went to Papa Jet 73. Travis Preheem is back. Seth Martinez, Jet Dogs, and JT9354. You guys are all now members to the Boy Green Coffee Club. Welcome to the Army, baby. Take full advantage. It's going to be a hell of an off season, so buckle the hell up. Thank you,
Paul. I must say, we only have 15 likes on YouTube so far, and I am deeply insulted.
I am insulted. Come on, people. We have 130 people watching on YouTube alone on this channel. So make sure you guys like that video. You spread the gospel of Boy Green Daily. This gets this Jet show in front of other Jet fans. We're trying to make a chase to 10,000 subscribers. The more videos you guys like, the more that is possible. And also, if you just want to be gifted a membership, when you like videos and comment in the chat, you are more likely to get the memberships that are handed out at random. So keep that in mind, people out there in the audience. So thanks for all the membership love so far here on the channel. We've got a bunch of callers that want to call in. Bob, you're a popular guy. It makes a lot of sense. Makes a lot of sense. Up next is your guy, Easy.
Easy. Shlemiel and Shlemazel.
Up, he's having some sort of an audio issue.
Can you hear us?
Nope.
No.
Put the wand down in my face.
There you go.
How about Shlemiel and Shlemazel?
Oh, yeah. Who's the You know the difference between a Shlemiel and a Shlemazel?
Yeah.
The Shlemiel spills the soup. The Shlemazel gets the soup spilt on.
That's right.
I see. Okay.
It's better to be the Shlemiel than the Shlemazel.
Yeah. Yeah.
How you doing, Easy?
Yiddish with you. We're going to start a show called Yiddish with Jet Fans.
Yeah, that's it's a very informative. You could probably put that in a children's book. So I'm looking forward to it.
Oh
Great.
God, I wouldn't let a children be a Jet fan.
Well, you're a better man than me. Yeah, you're a better man than me. All my children are Jet fans. So,
well, you're actually what I call a Oh shit! I was born a Jet fan. You're what's called a chosen Jet fan.
Yeah.
Or that's not actually the word I'm looking for.
Yeah, I got you. Oh wow, we're going with Easy on the move.
Yeah,
okay,
I'm trying to get this. They overstuffed it. They think this fucking dumpster is a damn Oreo cookie. You know, I get in trouble if the shit flies off too.
Of course.
So I got to be careful.
Yeah. They overstuff.
But I tell you what.
We'll cycle
talk to
back
someone else. I'll get back to you when I. Yeah.
He has an overstuffed Oreo going on over there. For God's sakes, we got to make sure Easy can handle his business over there. That's well, that's not a statement I thought I would ever say on this show, but all right, here we go. All right, up next, let's go, Frankie.
I'm sorry. Still.
Frankie, hello.
Sorry, guys. I'm just laughing at the whole Easy thing. I apologize. Let me get my composure here. I'm actually
sure, of course.
laughing so fucking hard. All right. First of all, I love Don's hat. Previous call.
Oh, you like that? Yeah, very nice.
Yeah, I like that, and I like all his takes too. So, how you doing, Bob?
I'm good. Did your brother like the book?
I just texted him. I asked him if he's read it yet. He liked it when I gave him as a gift. I don't know if he's read it yet. So I'll get back to you. I'll let you know what his thoughts are, because he is 69. He's older. He did see the Super Bowl. So
nice.
Which I don't really remember. I have a question for you guys, and before everybody kills me in the chat or you guys kill me, here's an idea, and it's based on what I've been hearing. Okay. Everybody's been saying next year's quarterback class is so much better than this year's, and if Arch Manning was coming out this year, it'd be number one.
Mm-hmm.
Fernando's got all these holes. Dante's too young. Blah 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 blah. We have the second pick, right?
Yeah.
I don't think we're winning more than 5-6 games next year anyway. As Alon said, 6. He was laughing at me because he thought 6 was too many. Here's an idea.
Wow.
Why don't we trade our second round pick, move back, acquire more picks, solidify.
Wait, real quick. I want to interrupt you, but you mean your second overall pick?
Our second overall pick. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm trading back.
I just understood.
Okay. I'm trading back. Either that one or you take the best defense. I would take 2 ideas: trade it back or take the best defensive player on the board. Okay. Then trade back the second first round pick we have.
16th overall. Yep.
Overall to acquire more picks, solidify the defense, help the offense, and then take a quarterback in the late rounds. Maybe you shoot for a Beck, you shoot for if uh, I don't know, somebody, maybe Chambliss comes out and he's a later round pick. Maybe I don't know who else is out there that's any decent, but you just basically build the team. And then the bridge quarterback, to me, you would trade, from what I understood, what I've read, the research, we could get, if Kirk Cousins is available and he's willing to do, you could probably get him for a 4th round pick, is what I read.
Yeah,
so you use him.
He just changed his contract to make it easier for them to get rid of
Right.
him.
Yeah. So it sounds like he's going to get cut.
You take him as a stopgap. Maybe maybe if you do get a Beck, or if you do get a Chambliss in the later rounds, or even I'm not crazy about Simpson, but I don't know, he's probably going to go in the 1st round, so he's not I don't think he's going to drop. But you take one of the later ones, and maybe you could develop that quarterback. But then if we do, which I predict, only going to have 5-6 wins next year anyway, you still have a shot at a good quarterback next year.
I like the idea, because the good news for Jet fans is, this is news, I don't know if it went under the radar, but Arvell Reese is considered the best defender of the draft by NFL Kiper. He's his number 1 rated player. He entered the draft, so we're all on pins and needles. Geez, is Dante Moore going to enter? Is he not going to enter? If he doesn't enter the draft, Arvell Reese just entered into the draft. So for the Jets, how I perceive it is the floor of their pick just went a lot higher. Arvell Reese is considered the best defender in the draft. This Jets defense, spoiler alert, was shitty. It was terrible. So if they can get a quarterback, which we'd all prefer to hopefully stop this vicious cycle, if that can't happen, the next best thing you're telling me is we have the number 1 overall pick of any non-quarterback in this class, because we assume Fernando would go number 1 in that scenario. That's not bad at all. Arvell Reese sounds like a phenomenal player, but from all experts, and we'll learn more about him as we go. Or to your point, you ship that off to somebody. Hey, highest bidder, number 1 overall pick of all non-quarterbacks. Or if one of you guys prefer one of these crazy quarterbacks that we don't perceive in that way, great. That could be a massive haul. So sure, I'm 1,000% open to that. Bob, where are you?
Well, Arvell Reese, I have not seen play. He's a linebacker, right?
Yes, correct. Yeah, he does edge and off-ball linebacker. He plays
Ohio
both.
State.
Ohio State.
Correct. Yep.
I'm looking to see. He's only 20 years old.
He's only 20 years old. His stats won't stand out to some people. He's got, I think 7 career sacks, but he went from being a rotational player on the championship team last year to a full-time player this year. So, again, there's some additional context that our draft experts will give us as we lead up to this draft, because this won't be the first time that we mention Arvell Reese. But, yeah, that's just – long story short, he's considered the best defensive player in the draft. Our defense sucks, so that would just be another path.
Is he more of an edge player, or is he a middle linebacker?
More edges from what I hear is what they project him at. But again, we will be able to talk with draft experts as we get closer to get even more details.
Well, I mean, having the first pick among everybody that isn't a quarterback, has its pluses. Up until you were interviewing that gentleman on Monday about the draft, I was under the impression that this is not a very high talented draft, at least compared to what they expect next year.
Sure.
But he said there's a lot of depth.
That's good to hear. Yeah, DP.
And if that were the case, I might go with Frank and say, you know what, let's trade down and get some of the quality, get more than one quality player that we need, because we have multiple holes to fill.
Yeah, let's get 100 first-round picks next year. Let's try to break a world record with how many first-round picks.
Obviously, if you traded number 2 and you got let's say you got a number 15 and a number 24 or something like that. I'm just picking.
Yeah.
I mean, I could go for that, or even
I think this team just has so many holes in it.
Correct. They obviously do. Yes, of course.
And the last thing I want to see is, this crap for the next 5 years. I'm okay with seeing it I'm 61. I'd like to see them win a Super Bowl. I don't want them to just win 8-9 games, and I want to build. I think it was someone called in and said, "I just want them to win 8 games." No, I don't want them to just win 8 games. I want them to win 13, and get the division and have a chance. at a Super Bowl because I'm not. I mean, again, tomorrow's not guaranteed, and I just want to see it. So I'm not happy with just mediocrity. So.
Hey Frank, what do you
Neither
think?
am I, yeah.
What do you think about the Cowboys owner saying this week that he wants to win as many Super Bowls as the Patriots won?
Right, that's his goal. Before he retires, he says he wants to have the most Super Bowls, and then he asks the room, "How many is that? Who has the most?" Oh, Patriots with 6. Well, I got 3. I'm halfway there. I got to get there.
Well, if he stays in control, he won't. It's never going to happen.
That may be.
Now,
that may be the
if
issue.
he were to retire and just say, okay, yeah, let the football people take over, then I think it would work. That's what most of the feeling is here in Dallas.
And for those of you who don't know, Frank is in Dallas.
Yeah.
He is. That's correct. Yep.
Yeah, me and Alon are here. So.
Couple of buddies. I love that visit this year. And again, if you guys would have visited again, we would have went undefeated. But you guys are selfish, so that's fine. Hopefully we get to do more of that next year.
We saw a couple games together.
Oh yeah. Oh okay. Good. It's more than once. Okay. I guess the hit rate wasn't as good as I was hoping.
We needed to fumble for Fernando. That was our goal.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, we shifted our strategy. That's a good point.
Right.
That's a good point. And maybe that's still on the table. Hey, if Dante goes crazy tonight, Fernando to the Jets, wouldn't that be a wild sort of event? So we can only hope.
Hey, Frank, say hi to your brother for me.
I will. Thanks again, Bob, for doing that.
Take good care.
Frankie, you're the best, baby. Thank you so much for the call. We have plenty of callers. We'll keep getting to all of you guys here on the program. So terrific. We have over 400 people in the room. Again, like that video here on YouTube. Bob has not been appreciative of the lack of likes on YouTube. So people, a lot of you are just watching. It's getting weird. Make sure you like that video.
I'm feeling jilted.
Yeah, you should. I feel jilted. Yeah, that's a word I haven't used in a while. I feel jilted with a capital J. All right, up next, our 04 Jet fan. What's up, pal?
How are you gentlemen doing this morning?
Good morning.
Not too shabby. I like that orange color. That brings out the color in your eyes.
Thanks, BD.
Yeah, well, of course.
I've been listening to a lot of great takes from everybody on here. Bob, I just want to say I'm glad to finally be able to get on with you. I love your historical knowledge of the Jets. I've said it multiple times now. 04 quite literally is the year I became a Jets fan. This is my first year of watching professional football.
I'm sorry.
Hey, listen, they got in my blood and it stuck. And I like Frankie's idea. If Dante doesn't declare, what stops us from trading down? My first call is to Cleveland. They're sitting at what? 7?
Yeah, let me pull them back up because I should know it better. But now that we're at 2, I'm like, screw everybody else. They're at 6.
They're at 6. Okay. Take their 2 firsts for this year. Fall back first 4 spots.
Let me see. So that would be 6 and 28 right now. I don't know if that's enough for me. I don't know.
Okay. Give me your first next year then.
28. Yeah, there we go. Now we're talking.
And give me your first next year.
Son. Yeah.
Sure.
I want their whole family. Yeah, sure. Throw it all in. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if there's an organization that's been as dysfunctional or more dysfunctional than the New York Jets, it's been the Cleveland Browns.
That's true. Yeah, terrible. Yeah.
But they need a quarterback too. And they don't need another defender. They've got a really good defense.
They do. They have great defense. I wish that was the Jets this year.
Move on up. Oh, that would be awesome. Myles Garrett.
I wish that was awesome.
Record? Sign me the hell up. That'd be great.
Oh, yeah. I want to see the staff come together.
Yeah.
I've got the feeling that AG would fill the CEO coach role a lot better if he had a competent couple coordinators. Steve Wilkes wasn't it.
Mm-hmm.
We don't know what we've got in Engstrand. And honestly, if you wanted to go out and find another OC and say, hey, Engstrand, you're the assistant offensive coordinator and quarterbacks coach now, it's not really a demotion. You're still OC, but you're not the only one in charge now.
That could make sense. There's plenty of OCs.
I don't want him as a quarterback coach.
You don't think he'd be a good quarterback coach, Bob?
I mean, I have to base it on achievement, accomplishment with other young guys, and he doesn't have anything on his resume that
factual.
shouts that
That's
out.
true.
I was impressed by his play calling this year.
Yeah, I thought there were flashes,
especially once he got quarterbacks who could throw the ball on the field. Even Cook, as bad as he was, at the first couple of weeks, they tried to run a real pro offense, and
they did
pulled it back. But when he had Tyrod Taylor on the field and they were basically doing the play calling, I was favorably impressed by what he was trying to do. Try to mix it up and keep the defense guessing. That didn't happen. With our first quarterback for most of the year, he just couldn't pull the trigger. So no, I don't want him as a quarterback coach. And as I said before, and I'll say it again, they better be putting an emphasis on a quarterback coach right now. Along with
who was the guy they hired when they drafted Zach Wilson that passed away?
That was Greg Knapp. His nickname was Napper. Yes.
Yeah, because he was supposed to be a really good quarterbacks coach, wasn't he?
Yeah, he had worked with Steve Young, Michael Vick. He had worked with some of the best quarterbacks of all time, and he was supposed to be a big piece of that puzzle.
Yeah. So, I mean, we've tried it before. Yeah, tragically, we lost him.
Yes, of course.
I mean,
only the Jets could lose the services of a guy like that the way they did.
Yeah. The tragedy around this organization is God. The way they rip your hearts out in multitudes of ways, and not only in a season, but in a single game.
Hey, someone's sending in a super chat. Let me get to this before we lose it. So, an interesting thought here. Here you go.
Wow.
Thank you, Jet71 here, $2 super chat. Engstrand played quarterback. So that's the one positive he has going for him is he himself played quarterback. He was in the quarterback room with Muji and Kevin O'Connell back in the San Diego State days. So that's interesting. But still, to Bob's greater point, I agree with Bob's overall point that his history of developing, he's just so young himself that he just hasn't had that level of experience.
So, if we had seen some vast improvement, in our quarterback play this year with all the hoopla that they heaped upon, the guy that they brought in, that'd be one thing. But we didn't see that.
Yeah.
Which is
very fair. It's just got to go. Like, we got to go up.
I mean, Engstrand was the tight ends coach in Detroit.
He was.
Yeah.
Okay.
Then he worked.
I knew he was on the offensive side. I couldn't remember.
Yeah, I don't have it. And let me see real quick, because I think his last role, I believe, was passing game coordinator, something of that nature with the Lions. But let me confirm here. So here was his path with Detroit once he got there. He started off as an offensive assistant. Then he became an offensive quality control coach. Then he became the tight ends coach and passing game coordinator. And then he was exclusively the passing game coordinator over the final 2 years with the Lions.
Okay. So he was somebody that worked very closely with a guy like Ben Johnson.
Yeah,
no doubt about it. Yeah, no doubt about it. No doubt.
So that gives me more hope for him as an OC then. But I didn't know he was solely the passing game coordinator that last year.
Except that Ben Johnson didn't try to bring him to Chicago.
That's true. So that's
this is true.
Point. But interestingly for the Lions, right? So it goes both ways. Sure, Ben Johnson, I imagine, has no regret passing on Tanner because he won the NFC North and they're hosting a playoff game and they have a wonderful season. The Lions passed over Tanner Engstrand for Johnny Morton. Johnny Morton was just fired this week. So it sounds like maybe they're regretting not going to Tanner in their own room. Not that Tanner has been this brilliant thing for us, but I'm intrigued by some of the things that he did this year.
Detroit should have looked at the fact that Johnny Morton got waylaid by the Jets. So
that's true. Yeah, one and done a couple of years ago. Shout out, salute to old John Morton there.
Yeah.
Yes. What else is on your mind, for a Jets fan?
I mean, who are your guys' dream DCs and quarterbacks coach? We've been talking about a bunch of names, but if the right situation came up for you guys, who do you want in those positions?
All right, Bob, give us your DC dream.
I want Jim Schwartz.
Okay.
Jim Schwartz.
I would love Jim
I would love that.
If we're going dreamy, I'll go Brian Flores, who's a free agent right now. I would love Brian Flores. And again, no shame on Schwartz. I would love Schwartz. But if you're telling me a dream and I'm mixing it up.
But he'd have to make a lateral move, and that would
No, he's a free agent. He's a coaching free agent.
But still, he'd be making a lateral move.
But wouldn't Jim Schwartz? He's a defensive coordinator.
Yes, you're absolutely right. So I stand corrected. But if I had a choice between the two, I'd take Jim Schwartz.
Sure. If I had a choice between the two, I'd take Jim Schwartz, but I love Brian Flores as well. So he'd be another one on the list. And then who's your dream quarterback coach? Who's this overseer that joins the operation here, Bob?
There's a lot of names out there, and I couldn't really, focus on one. Josh McCown got mentioned before. I don't know what his.
He has that same role, so that would unfortunately be lateral, and he's employed by the Vikings right now. He's
the guy in Connecticut who evaluates the rookie quarterbacks coming in every year might be an interesting name.
You're talking about Palmer?
Yeah, Palmer, but there's somebody else.
Jordan, yeah,
Jordan Palmer. Yes, that's interesting. Okay,
yeah, because
I think
he actually runs a camp in the summer that he works out with new quarterbacks coming into the league.
I would not be opposed to that.
I don't know. I'm not putting my stamp of approval on him, but it's a name. There are guys out there.
Here's a wild one. I have thought of none of this until you just said it. But Bruce Arians, he's currently in this weird retired place. He is an offensive mastermind. He's forgotten more offensive football than most of us will ever know. I would love someone that has battle scars. I would prefer not someone younger, because if you're younger, you just, generally speaking, don't have the experience of working with guys with a proven track record. Whoever they hire, I want to have a proven track record of success. And Bruce certainly has that. So he would be one that intrigues me greatly.
Well, I'll tell you what, I will look back at some of the more accomplished quarterbacks.
Okay, and get back to us on that.
And I will see who their quarterback coaches were, who brought them along.
But great question, 04 Jets fan. Thanks for jumping on. And see, you got your chance to be on with the legend, Bob Lederer. Thanks, 04.
Gentlemen, have a great day.
You do the same.
There he is, 04 Jets fan. Appreciate it. Good call there. Good call. Very nice. Again, speaking about these quarterbacks, quarterback experts. Again, a lot of DC names flown out there. It's good. We got to start racking our brains about the offensive guys as well. All right, let's continue down the train here. Up next is, I'm going to be on this guy's show tonight. It's Johnny Boy.
BG,
Jets Worldwide.
Hey, Johnny Boy, it's good to see you up and thriving.
I appreciate that, Bob. Thank you, man. And happy Arroz con Pollo Day for you, okay? I don't know. I just wanted to be cool, like Alan.
Yeah. There you go. That was nice. Yeah. Did that resonate with you, Bob?
I didn't hear it clearly.
Say it one more time. Let me go full screen for you, Johnny Boy. Go ahead, one more time.
Oh, happy Arroz con Pollo Day, Bob.
Oh, thank you.
Same to you and yours. You Bob.
I wish I knew what you just said to me.
Oh, I said happy rice and chicken day for you.
Yes,
rice and chicken day. Oh,
yeah. It's a great meal.
Are we having rice and chicken tonight? We're having chicken tonight. Are we having rice? We're having chicken we're having chicken and not rice.
Well, I'll tell you though, but in the Puerto Rican culture, my mother makes rice and chicken as a key component of the dish. That's certainly.
All I know is I'm barbecuing the chicken myself. Oh, are you? Is it really bad outside?
Oof, it's got a little testy in the Lederer household over there.
No, my wife asked me to barbecue the chicken, but now she's telling me the weather is too cold outside. So
she made an audible at the line of scrimmage. Hey, she has that ability in that relationship.
Yeah, she calls the signals.
Okay, that makes sense. All right, go ahead, Johnny Boy. What's on your mind besides plugging your wonderful show tonight? I'm going to be on.
I appreciate that, man. Hey, looking forward to having you on, Boy Green. Every time you're on, man, it's a fun one. So
appreciate it, man.
And as two guys that still want to keep AG on the team itself,
minority,
we're probably going to get crushed on the show, but it's all good. I came on because of the conversation about these kids not wanting to come to the New York Jets with Todd McShay, blah, 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 and all that stuff. First off, Wasn't McShay back in the day cool with JD and was trying to tell
Of
people
course he
to come
was.
to the Jets and all that?
Yes, they were former college teammates with the Richmond Spiders. Todd McShay was the quarterback. Joe Douglas was his offensive lineman. So he is miffed by the fact that the Jets fired Joe Douglas, and Todd McShay, perceives that the Jets did him dirty. So there is some bias in the things that Todd McShay says, which I think, paints some of the flavor of the takes of how they're so scintillating, how they're not scintillating. That's not the word I'm looking for. That it's just so fiery and like it's seemingly personal. I think that fuels some of it.
So I would say Mache is full of shit, right? That's
okay. Wow. All right.
Okay. So that's my point.
Sure.
But
that's the point.
what about the dream of a lot of kids, right? It's never talked about anymore. Now with this whole NIL deal, and what I mean by the dream is becoming a pro NFL player in the league itself. You go from peewee, rec ball, middle school, high school. Oh, I want the chance to become a pro NFL player, and the chances of that happening is super slim. You got to be the best of the best itself. You got a kid in Dante Moore that could potentially be 1 and 2, right? To be drafted itself as a quarterback sounds way better than if he comes out next year and is in the top 5 and we're like, oh, I was picked picked 5th overall or whatever. And especially after you guys said that Moore's pop was a single father working hard. Dude, if that's me, I'm like, yo, Dad, I'm coming out. It's 50 mil. You're good. Okay. Retire. Have fun watching me play. I'm only 20. If it does not work out, look at the other quarterbacks that have come over here and then had a resurgence of their career somewhere else later on. He's still young, so with the whole second contract and everything, I don't know, man. This whole stuff, like, dude, I would be happy as anything. Look at Ruck. Ruck was he was a Jets fan, and he knowing the shit show that has been with the New York Jets and all that, probably happy as anything to be wearing the green and white, where he got up and everything. Now, has he done a lot of stuff for us to be like, oh man, Ruck's the guy, he's the tight end that we've needed? No, he hasn't and everything, but he wears that stuff proudly. When people are saying that, the locker room has been lost, well, how come Garrett Wilson's coming out and defending individuals, right?
Way to go, GW.
Yeah, so and that's the other thing too, man. Garrett Wilson, he's shown a lot of what a leader should do, and he continues to keep doing it. Now, it needs to be put on the field itself as well, but I don't believe in the whole you know what I mean? Like, oh, nah, he's not going to do it because of the money. Money talks. And then you get people saying there's good money and bad money. Yeah, what would be considered bad money? You're selling a key or two around the block, right? You're
right. Blood money? What are we talking about here? I have no idea.
Is that what we're talking about?
I don't understand. Yeah,
I would take
Johnny. He might be worth more next year with another year of college credibility and smarts under his belt, even if he was, in a stronger quarterback class.
Bob, let me ask you a question. How many children do you have?
3.
Okay. And you have a son, yes?
2.
2 sons. Okay. All right, great. So pick one of your sons. They have a chance to be the number 2 overall pick in the draft and to get $50 million. And what are your 2 sons' names?
One of them works on Wall Street.
Okay.
And the other one works as a computer programmer.
All right, I'm going to call him Bobby Jr.
Ask your question because I'm going to give you a good answer.
Okay, so I'll call him for now Bobby Jr. Okay, Bobby Jr. comes up to Dad and says, "Dad, should I go into the draft and get $50 million, or should I go back to school and develop? What would your advice be to your son?"
Both of my sons, I can say authoritatively, would say to me, "I'm coming out and I'm going to have the money, and I want you and Mom to be as comfortable as possible."
I would say.
And my wife says she would say what?
No.
You would say no? Why? Hold on. I have to bring my wife on you. Come over here.
Oh, great! Wow, she's never been on the show. This
Everyone
is historic.
wants to meet
great.
you. Why would you tell our son, who would have the ability to come out of college and be a first or second draft pick in pro football, and he could make $50 million guaranteed. And I know you're going to say to me, Jewish people don't play football; they own the team. But aside from that, what would be your reason? No, seriously, my sons would both say, I'm coming out, and I want to make you and Mom as comfortable as possible.
Hey, but and so is Mrs. Lederer about to make her first appearance on the show? Is that happening?
No, she's camera shy.
Okay.
She doesn't. She says she's blaming it on not having makeup on.
Okay, so if we can make that happen in the future, she can put whatever makeup on she would love to. We would love
I
to.
should bring my son
please.
on to confirm that that's exactly what he would do.
Sure. Yeah. Can you? Can you phone a friend? Are we on a game show? Can we use that as an option?
But that's
but he would be guaranteed $50 million.
$50 million. That is correct.
But he could be injured. Well, he's not going to. But he could.
CTE. I don't want my kids to live like that.
You hear that?
I heard CTE. That's.
She said, sure. What if he got terribly injured, and I don't want my child to have CTE?
Well, then he'd had $50 million.
But
that I have to admit, CTE would give me a second, would give me a pause. But I would
and then I would read a check for $50 million.
But I would argue he's going to play behind a great Jets offensive line.
Of course, so he won't get hit at all. He's going to be untouched. That's it, Bob.
You've been playing football since Pee Wee, right? So you've been taking the risk of having those injuries ever since. That's what I'm saying. Like it's that dream of every kid that goes out there that's played football that says, oh, I'm Joe Namath. Oh, I'm Curtis Martin. Oh, I'm Wayne Corbett, right? I mean, oh, look, I just got an interception. I'm Darrell Reeves. To be able to do that, right, where there is not many people on this world that could say I've played at a NFL level and I played it really well. I've been talked about being a Heisman. I've done this. I've got all these different accolades and everything. It's just not. It's talked about. All of it continues. Well, he might not come out because maybe next year he could do that. It's not guaranteed. Look at Drew Aller. This dude is now being talked about potentially in the 4th or 5th round picked. When if he would have came out the year before, right? He was a first rounder for sure. The money changed like that for the dude. Again, like if I'm there now. If my son came to me and was like, I want to sit, and that's a different story, but if my son comes to me and he's like, yo, Pops, man, I might be able to play for our favorite team, the New York Jets, and I'm going to be QB1 off the rip. I'll be like, hell yeah. Let me get some tickets. You remember all them shows that I used to call into, right? And all that. Hey, you better get a whole bunch of tickets for all of these guys that come up here because we're about to have an insane tailgate. And let's show out, right? Like I just don't understand it. I get, we've been a crap organization itself, but you're playing under the bright lights of New York, dude. Have Joe Namath call Dante Moore, Fernando Mendoza, and say how awesome it was, playing for them. Coming from where did he come from? Bob, Nebraska. Right, Beavertown or something like that.
No, Pennsylvania.
I'm sorry.
Beaver Falls, PA.
Beaver Falls, PA.
You were sort of the general
not far from where Unitas came from, and where Perilli came from, and where there's another famous quarterback came from.
Dan Marino, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Hey, by the way, a real quick shout out. We are one subscriber away from 8,280 people, so make sure you join that army as well. Let's go. We're close to another milestone here on the channel, which is friggin' awesome. And again, Bob has been underwhelmed by the amount of likes here on the channel. Only 96. Let's see if we could get that to triple digits as well.
I'm deeply hurt, you guys out there. Supposedly you like what I have to say, but maybe the reality is hitting me square in the face.
Look, Bob, you said it earlier. You might be the only person that does not like your video. I love that video, bro. I try to
What video are you talking about, Johnny? What video are you talking about?
Jets. Jets.
Jets. Jets.
Yes. Yeah.
By the way, I saw my my muscles move on that one.
Oh yeah.
Hey, does your wife like that video, Bob?
I don't think she's seen it. No, she did
She
see
hasn't
it
seen
the other.
it.
No, she
Oh.
did see it the other day.
Okay, good. And
okay, my son says he's trying to call in.
Nice.
Oh, okay.
So
all right.
if you
Tell him
see-
to.
if- I don't know how he's going to identify himself, but if you see, Michael
Okay.
Lederer or Colt fan or whatever, let me know and bring him on. Oh,
BG,
it's
appreciate you, Bob.
he is there. He is there, and he says you should bring me on for a few minutes.
Okay.
For some good shtick. Okay.
All right, Johnny. Thank you so much for the
Johnny,
call.
thank you. Have a
Appreciate
great
it.
weekend. And again, I'm glad to see that you're doing so well.
I appreciate it. Look forward to having you on tonight, Boy Green, 7:30.
Yes, can't wait. There he is, Johnny Boy. We'll be on Jets Worldwide. So, okay, I believe we have Bob's son. Wow, this is terrific. We have a whole family affair here. It's okay. Bobby Jr. has called into the show.
You guys hear me?
We got you.
Can we have a picture?
Not at the moment.
Okay, so let me tell you why I asked you to call in.
Okay.
We have a raging debate here about who the Jets should take with the first or second pick. We won't talk about number 16 because I don't want to offend a Colts fan live on the air. My son's a big Colts fan, Paul.
Okay.
Anyway.
Oh, yes, I remember. Right. You're welcome for Sauce Gardner, Bobby Jr.
Yes. So anyway, here's the question. The question is, if you were either of the two quarterbacks and you were guaranteed to come out of college and make $50 million guaranteed, would you do it or would you hold off till next year and perhaps make more, perhaps not make as much? Because
it could be less, right? It's a risk.
Yeah, you may. It's a risk. So we actually asked Mom, and Mom said, I don't want either of my sons to be paralyzed or have CTE. And I said, either of my sons would say, yes, Dad, I'll do it because I believe in myself. And I also want you and Mom to be as comfortable as possible. So sign in, please, and tell us exactly what you think.
I think the better question is not, can I make more money next year? I think the better question is, do I have to play for the Jets?
So, okay, Bobby Jr., so let me ask you, would you be willing to risk it, right? Because it's a risk, right? So if you come out, you play for the Jets, unfortunately for you, Bobby, but you make $50 million, or you enter the pool next year, and maybe you don't play for the Jets, but maybe you do because they have 3 first-round picks. So maybe you don't play for the Jets, but $50 million could be lost. You could maybe only make $10 million or $5 million. Who knows?
Maybe you get hurt your next year in college.
Sure, right. Anything could happen. So, Bobby Jr., would you be willing to risk it to get the biscuit? Would you take the $50 million guaranteed with the Jets, or would you go back and say, "Yep, I'll take my chances"?
Am I a junior or a senior?
That's a good question. I don't know. You
Well,
guys tell me.
you've got at least another year of eligibility, regardless.
Oh, junior or senior? I thought you meant Bobby Jr. or Bobby Senior. Junior or senior.
Am I a junior in college or a senior in college?
Oh, well, you have a chance to go back. I'll just put it that way.
I think it depends on how much I actually believe in myself to be a successful quarterback. Because if I think that, at some point my I don't think I'm going to make it to a second contract, then yeah, probably I would just take the money. But if I really think that I'm the shit, then I would probably choose not to play for the Jets.
Ooh, interesting. I have a follow up to that because I was thinking of this as well. So, okay, the first part you said makes sense. If you're like, oh boy, I have been smoke and mirroring this forever. I'll take $50 million because they're going to soon find out that I'm not going to last very long. But you say, but you say if you're the shit, you're like, you know what? I believe I could do it somewhere else and do something else. But if you feel like you're the shit, don't you feel overconfident enough? You're like, I can fix the Jets. I'm the shit. I can go. I'll make $50 million and turn it around and get more money.
And I can be the biggest thing in New York.
Right.
Don't you think that like Sam Darnold thought that, or don't you think that
probably? I guess.
Don't you think that every failed quarterback that the Jets have picked probably thought that? Zach Wilson.
Yeah.
I mean,
but someone eventually has to be the guy.
The Colts? That's a much better idea.
Is it?
I happen to think it is.
Well,
what if you were going to go to Las Vegas, which has fired 6 coaches in the last 6 years?
Yeah. It depends. Am I a gambling addict?
You see, Paul, I have really sharp kids.
You do, no question about it. So I appreciate that Bobby Jr. calling into the show. So how are you enjoying Sauce Gardner, Bobby Jr.?
He'd be better if he had functioning calves, but
do you have high hopes for next year, Bobby Jr., for your Colts?
I will say that this year I didn't have. I went into the season as about as ambivalent as one could, and was pleasantly surprised until I wasn't.
That's what a painful roller coaster that was.
Exactly.
He called me after every game and said, "You just see what was it?
Indiana Jones, baby.
Indiana
yes,
Jones.
yeah.
Hell yeah, brother. It seems like they're going to bring him back,
which makes sense for both parties. Yeah, I understand.
Yeah. The defense needs a big overhaul, but Sauce helps. Appreciate it.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Yeah.
Hey, a quick follow-up on your Colts. They're keeping Chris Ballard and they're keeping Shane Steichen. Is that the right call or wrong call?
Steichen probably is correct. Ballard, I was a big believer for a very long time. I've soured a little bit, but I can see the logic behind it when he's got 1 year left on his contract. If you're the owner, if you're Carlier, say, it is true that they had a historically potent offense for that first half of the season until Jones got hurt.
Sure. Yeah.
Their EPA per play was quite literally, I think, better than any other team in recorded history or something.
Taylor was a beast.
And I don't think that was by accident. I don't think you can sustain that for that long. And they played some good teams too. They played Denver. They played the Rams. So I don't think it was so much of a fluke, but you can't also just collapse after a bunch of injuries. So.
And give us one more nugget here. Adonai Mitchell, you guys gave him to us. Apparently, the Jets say we wouldn't have done the deal if they didn't include Adonai Mitchell, and you guys included him. So, what's the Adonai Mitchell experience? What are Jets getting here?
Mitchell is great if he knows how not to be a fucking idiot.
Okay.
He's typically a master at boneheaded mistakes. If you go back to college, you look at all the plays that he just kind of started loafing if he thought he wasn't getting the ball. I think his mental is the biggest problem of his game.
Okay.
I think that I actually when the trade happened, I called my dad and I said, look, if you can figure out how to not be an idiot, you've got a really, really talented wide receiver. I really, really mean it. I think Pat Surtain I saw said the other day on a podcast that he was watching before Denver played Indy. He said he was watching the tape and he says, God, I think Mitchell might be the best wide receiver on that team. His releases are incredible, and it's true. If you watch the tape, he can beat just about anybody, and he's very, very fast. But he's just an idiot, and I don't know if you can fix that. But if anybody can fix an idiot, it's the New York Jets. I've learned that.
See, there you go, Bobby. That kind of confidence and enthusiasm is what we need more around here. So if you ever choose to change in your blue and white for the green and white, we've got a spot for you, Bobby Jr.
Look, I'll tell you this, okay? I tune into this every now and then when my dad sends me this link.
Yep, of course.
And this is just a veritable slop fest of depression, and I don't know why I would want to join that. So, I think
maybe that's the answer of what you just said, Bobby Jr. But I have to ask, Bob, your father here is a massive Jets guy. Why did you not fall into that? Because for my children, there is no question, there's no debate. My 1-year-old son and my 4-year-old daughter, who will be 4 later this month, they're Jet fans. I'm not giving them a choice. So did your father give you a choice? What happened? How did you end up in Indianapolis?
I think you can go one of two directions when you're a child. Okay, you can either idolize your father and do everything that he wants.
That didn't happen with me.
Or you can take my direction and you can say, you know what? As less than 10 years old, I'm going to vote for George Bush because my father is a Democrat. Okay,
there you go.
And you can name, and for those of you who are, which I think a good number of you guys are old enough to remember, if you can make your AIM screen name Stinky Mets 1, or you can just decide to be a Colts fan, right? So I took the contrarian route.
I see.
And I chose the Colts because I used to play with my brother, with other Bobby Jr., or actually I'm
yeah,
Bobby
of course,
Jr.
naturally, right? Yeah.
You can play. I've played NFL Blitz 2000.
Oh, I love that game.
My favorite color is blue, and one thing led to another, and that was how I chose the Colts.
But I must point out, as I do in my book, that it were my two sons watching Super Bowl III with me, who said, "Who is that guy? And who is that guy? And who is that guy? And why are they playing so well?" They were the inspiration for my book.
Dad, I think we can reveal now that story was bullshit. I don't think that happened. No, it might have happened, but I don't remember it.
And it's hard to blame Bobby Jr.'s choice because, right? So, if you had to guess on around the year time frame that you became a Colts fan, it'd be what? What year?
It was the early 2000s.
Okay, that's what I figured. Just
I
somewhere
was
around
born in '95, so
wow, you're younger than me. Okay, all right.
Yeah, so I didn't really even start following football consistently until like 7th or 8th grade when I started playing fantasy football. So at that point, I was like, okay. I mean, I used to be. I told myself I was a Colts fan when I was younger, so I might as well just.
So who was the first Colts quarterback that you remember?
Peyton. I don't remember.
Yeah, and hey, what a great choice! They win the Super Bowl against the Chicago Bears team, and you get your Super Bowl first for Pops in terms of recency. So
exactly, and I had three options, right? I could have either been a New York sports fan, I could have been a Chicago sports fan, or I could have been something else. And Chicago sports were seen, at least in my mind, as just about as depressing as New York sports. So, I had to choose something different.
That's true. Well, Bobby Jr., I got to say, what a brilliant debut! Everyone is loving you in the comments section. So this is terrific. Sorry for any technical difficulties as your call was coming in. We had a couple other callers calling at the same time, so it was causing a rub there. But appreciate you making your debut, Bobby Jr.
Yeah, I appreciate the time.
Mikey, somebody wrote in, Bob must be a very proud Abba.
I should hope so. Also, I heard earlier you said you got one son who works on Wall Street and one's a software engineer. I also technically work on Wall Street. Okay,
so I have two sons who work on Wall Street.
I'm carrying the Jewish pride. Okay, I'm working on Wall Street.
There you go. That's a beautiful thing. Bob, anything else you want to say to your son, Bobby Jr. here? Anything else you want to say?
Even if it's Jersey City, New Jersey, Wall Street.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there you go. Bob, anything else to say to your son, Bobby Jr. here?
Thanks for responding to my request.
I was actually trying to call in before that because I thought it'd be good. I thought it'd be a good shtick.
Oh, that'd be hilarious! Yeah, I saw it down there. I was like, "Is this really Bob's son?"
In the future, unless you get some trolls, if you see Bobby Jr., you can probably
I'll know who it is. All right, beautiful. Thanks, Bobby.
All right, you have a great weekend, guys.
All right, there he is, Bobby Jr. We've got some breaking news that may have a loose impact on the Jets. Let's hit this. The Miami Dolphins have hired a brand new general manager. This is a guy that interviewed for the Jets general manager job last offseason. Is John Eric Sullivan. So why is that relevant? He's a Packers guy. Why is that relevant? It means it's not Chad Alexander, which means the Chad Alexander-Harbaugh pairing that people said could happen is not happening in Miami. Now, it doesn't mean John Eric Sullivan can't hire Harbaugh or that ends up happening, but it's very interesting that the pairing that everyone talked about is not going to happen, at least there. Of course, Chad could get hired somewhere else if Harbaugh wants to go to the Giants and he's like, this Joe Shane guy I don't like. They could somewhere else, but interesting. That breaking news just coming in from ESPN NFL insider Adam Schefter.
That is very interesting. Yeah.
Okay, so John Eric Sullivan, longtime Green Bay Packers executive. Frankie asked, how old is Bob Jr.? He said he was 95, or he was born 95.
He was born in
1995. So he's like 30-ish, somewhere in that range. He's going to turn 31 this year.
He just turned 30.
Okay, there you go. So that is
how much easier could it be to say, well, I started to become a fan and Peyton Manning was the quarterback.
Yeah, see, there you go. That's pretty good. Now, Bobby Jr. tried to call in earlier, but I do get trolls occasionally. So a no camera Bobby Jr., I'm like, what are the chances Bob's son is calling in when we were talking about some of this? So, sorry, Bobby Jr. I have my guard up now with all the trolls that every once in a while call into the show. So I have to be, especially the non-camera ones, they have silly names sometimes and they try to find creative ways to get on the shows. And then they just start yelling like all kinds of expletives. I'm like, oh, geez.
But he could have put in the second line inspiration for Beyond Broadway, Joe. But he
could have. It's something like that. And I would have went like, oh, that's serious. When I first saw it, it just said Bob's son. And I'm like, is that real? Is someone just fake it? Because there was no camera on, so I don't know whether or not.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't know what he
very
looks
good,
like anyway.
Very good looking guy. What can I say?
But I'll take your word for it. Okay, there we go. And okay. There's no better person to follow Bob's son than the guy you've been searching for. It's Devin, DNY for life. Flash.
There he is. Hey, Devin.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Hey, I like the Flash too.
Yeah, it's very nice.
Hey, I don't know. I like what I like, bro. I just feel like a lot of times people sort of put on facades for different reasons. Like you feel like you have to be something that you're not, and I'm like, I guess I'm mature enough in life to realize like it doesn't really matter as long as you can, you do the things that you're take care of your responsibilities, fulfill your happiness.
Evaluate Justin Fields in retrospect.
So, Bob, I am wholeheartedly and will always be an optimist at heart and hope for the best. And especially, I thought that Justin Fields legitimately had an opportunity to turn his career around, and I thought he had been in the league long enough to where that was the direction in which he was headed. And apparently so did Aaron Glenn and Tanner A. Strand and Darren Muji and everybody else to some degree, right? Because they didn't, you didn't hear about any serious opposition to him coming on to the Jets from within the staff, which you don't really hear much, which I think is also a strength, and we'll add that to the list, Boy G, for what is Aaron Glenn good at. He's good at keeping Jets stuff in the house, which has historically been an atrocity in previous years. Where everything you knew everything was happening with the Jets before it even happened. You knew who was coming in. You knew whether or not they were staying. You know who was getting signed. You knew who they wanted. You know who they were going after. You knew everything about the Jets. We don't know anything now, including now. Right? Even what's going on, and you're thinking this is turbulent and there's this turmoil that's going on inside the Jets organization, but we don't know what's going on inside the Jets organization. There's a united front. So that's what Aaron Glenn has done. We're going to put that, and that for me is huge. Just thought about that, by the way. So thanks for that.
Devin, when are you buying my book, which was our original bet?
Well, Bob, coincidentally, I did send you a email last night.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if you saw it or not, but I did send you an email in regard to that. So yeah, you can figure that out.
I will look at it and I will respond.
Okay. Yeah, so me and DNY for Life communicated earlier this week, and I told him, hey, here's a contact info. You can reach out to Bob. He'll take care of you. So, Bob, yes, he did send an email, so you guys can work out all the particulars, and I'm looking forward to the updates that are coming on.
And as I said before, I will guarantee that you like it, or I'll give you your money back.
Bob, that won't be necessary either way, but I appreciate that offer, though. That's very gentlemanly of you. But the knowledge would be great, man. I have not been ducking you, by the way. I heard you earlier. Okay. By the way, you were right. You win the bet. You see me here. I concede. But that's the thing that I was saying, my friend, is that I'm not afraid to say that I was wrong, and I was wrong on Justin Fields. But I'm also going to always be an optimist and root for any Jet, regardless if I may believe that they're going to be successful with the team or not. I'm going to still hope for the best. I'm going to be realistic about it, though. And with regard to AG, I'm going to be an AG truther for right now. You know what? For me, it does matter that he was a Jet, because I feel like I need someone to care about this turning around and understand exactly what it means. Yeah. And you can't have a better understanding than anyone that's lived it, right? And so because he's done that, I want and aside from that, what is one more year to give him one more year? We've been in the doldrums of this freaking hell that I don't want to be in, and no Jets fan want to be in, and it kills me to see Jets fans fighting. I love Jake Asman. I do. I still love you, Jake. If you're listening to this, I love you. You know, I haven't really been on his show like that, but you know, because he's spewing this venom and I don't agree with. And, you know, and he said himself, you know, if you don't like what you're hearing, you don't have to tune in. But I do tune in still, you know, but it's just like it's toxic to me, you know, like why be toxic? So let's give a fellow Jet one more year to prove himself. And absolutely 3-14 is not acceptable next year. You know what? There's not even like there's gonna be, I'm not gonna say there's a certain record that I really want to look at and say that what needs to be. There's to a degree. Like don't less than 7 wins. We might have to look at and examine those losses like further,
of course,
right? But it could be 7 wins with some losses that were really close, and maybe we got screwed by a couple of ref calls and stuff like that. You know what I mean? So you got to look in the context of everything, and I always believe in context and context being everything, and that's also what I was thinking about in regard to this Dante Moore situation, right? Like, why would he not want to come to the Jets? Well, if Joe Burrow said, I'm going to go to the Bengals and I'm going to take them to the freaking Super Bowl because that's who I am. Why? These kids have egos too. And $50 million. Yeah, that's a great point. Beyond $50 million, the prestige of being a star in New York is unlike anything else in the country. There's nothing else like it. When you're a star in New York, when literally Derek Jeter can go anywhere in this country and he's going to be recognized by someone and people are going to go crazy about him somewhere. It doesn't matter where he goes. And that's because that happened in New York. Like, Odell Beckham did not become Odell Beckham. A consideration in Dante Moore coming out. If he is, and if the Raiders take him first, that's fine. I'll take Mendoza. You know, I'm good with some Mendoza.
Hey,
I'm good.
By the way, because Bob had some words with his son, I have some words for my father with some new breaking news coming in. The Dallas Cowboys are doing their first wave of defensive coordinator interviews. They're going after the guy we want. It sounds like, or want to interview at least, Daronte Jones of the Vikings. Brown safety coach Ephraim Banda. I have no idea who the hell that is. And they want to speak with Jim Leonard, who has an interview with the Cowboys tomorrow. Hey, back the hell up, Bob.
Okay.
From Jim Leonard, you bastards. What are you doing? That's potentially our guy. So, whoa,
okay.
Stepping on our turf here. Cowboys trying to go after our buddy Jim Leonard. What the hell?
That's great news, BG. That's great news. What? You know what that means?
Okay. No, what's that mean?
Leonard is out there to be interviewed for our defensive hiring position because we were considering and thinking about, is he going to leave Denver, right? Well, if he's taking an interview in Dallas, well, come on home, baby. Come on home.
Ooh,
come
that's a good point.
Home. Oh, yeah. Yes, sir.
Nice. Yeah, there we go, Devin.
Sir.
Okay.
We'll thank you for cracking that egg for us, Dallas. But we appreciate you opening that door. And we're just going to go kick that in right now and get our next defensive coordinator. And we're just going to have this all homegrown and let this cook and stir. Bob, by the way, I really enjoyed your son. So Bob Jr., I love that, man. That was awesome. That was really awesome. He's got quite a personality. Yeah.
Oh,
I should bring on my other son next time.
Just on that, Devin, right? So I see Bob, and then we find out it's real. Like Bob tells me, "Oh, my son's trying to call." I'm like, "Okay, it's real. It's your son." And then when he came on in my head, I'm like, "Wow, what is this experience about to be like? Because is it just going to be a younger version of Bob? Like, what's going to happen?" And when he started flying, fuck this, fuck that, I was like, "Holy shit! Okay, whoa, this is a
that's the fiery version.
Knock off the old stream.
The fiery younger version.
He clearly has a mind of his own, and I respect it and love it. And
that was refreshing.
And we have conversations. I've actually stayed away from ridiculing him about Sauce, but we have very interesting conversations about
I can only imagine
about football. He's not really he's not a baseball or basketball or football or hockey fan at all. It's Colts or nothing. But he lives and dies it, and that was a great question you asked him about Ballard, because he's been filling my head with Ballard for years, and I could hear it softening up the last year or two.
Again, Chris Ballard has a well-known reputation league-wide, but there's with the losing, it's been his reputation's been taking hits.
Yeah.
So it's just sort of curious from that
And,
perspective.
and what I didn't say it when he was on, but they were incredibly lucky the first half of the season. And I told my son,
Lucky.
I mean, they won a game against, I think it was Denver.
Oh, I remember what you're talking about.
In the
Yes,
third week, where
Yes.
they had a kick from like 60 yards to try to win the game, and it got blocked, and there was
There's
a
a
penalty
penalty.
because they had roughed the long snapper. They'd roughed
Right.
the long snapper on it, and so he got the kick from 15 yards closer. And the minute that game was over, I called him up and he was laughing. And I said, you guys just had the kind of luck. And the only thing I'm going to tell you is luck eventually runs out and it turns the other way. And that's what happened the second half of the season with all the injuries and other things that went on with him.
Yeah, that's pretty crappy, but looks very, very nice for us for the next 2 years, because for the next 2 years, the Colts are going to probably have a pretty high draft pick. And
Hopefully. Yeah, he tells me, my son tells me Daniel Jones is going to be ready by opening day. I don't know.
Yeah, that's not
don't
going to
see
happen.
that at all.
That's not going to
It's
happen
okay.
because
Take your
yeah.
time. Your Colts pick belongs to us now, Bobby. Okay, so make sure you get that pick just right for us. Okay, and you can worry about your Colts in like 2028 or something. Okay, but for now, give us the best pick we can. So, Bobby,
And I keep reminding him, who's the only team the Jets won a Super Bowl against? The Colts.
The Colts. So sorry, Bobby
Hey,
Jr.
BG,
Us
I got a
one,
question for you.
0. Go ahead, Devin. What's up?
But how many fourth round picks do we have? Do you know?
Fourth round picks do we have? Let me pull that back up here. Let me see.
I thought we
What do
had multiple fourth round picks.
I believe
we don't
you're
have any
right.
third round picks, right?
Some of those
We
are
definitely don't have
considered
a third
comps.
rounder. That's true. That's also another factoid here. So let me see. I'm pulling it up here on our pro sports transactions. I should have it here in just a second. All right. So let's see. The Jets have. Yeah, some of this is projected, I guess, but let me see. They have.
I think it's 3.
Yeah, let me see. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 3, 1, 5. It looks like 1, 4. They have 1, 4 right now. They have 2, 5.
okay.
So it looks like this is right. This is from their projections. We have 2 1s, 2 2s, 1 4, 2 5s, 3 6s, and 2 7s right now. But again, that's projected, so we won't know the comp picks. We won't know officially for a little bit of time.
I feel like we're gonna be trading back a couple of times with either the second pick of the first round or that 33 pick. Because if there's somebody there if there's a couple of players that are like right behind that, maybe like 30 at 30, 34 or 36, you know what I'm saying? Something like that, like relatively close to 33, that they might jump back and take that to get a third round pick this year and maybe like another second round pick. I don't know, depending on whatever. But I think they're going to look at jumping back with something to get a couple of more picks. And I'm still thinking as well, like I want to draft a second quarterback, and I think you know who I want. I don't think you agree with me about this player, but I think you know who it is. That I think I've said it before. But anyhow, I want to keep you in suspense. Drew Aller. I want if he can. I want a medical on him, and if the medical looks good,
Is he coming
I'm
out?
going to take a shot on him.
He is.
He has
I
to.
think he's
He
out
has
of
to. He's a
eligibility.
senior. Yeah, he was a senior
Yeah.
last year.
Somebody-
And that's another reason
somebody-
why.
Someone late in the draft is going to grab him. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that's it. So
Another
Devin,
reason why
I'm
more
with
needs to
you
come
if
out.
the medical's clear. If the medical's clear, I'm with you. He broke his ankle, so that's a gruesome injury. So I need a medical update. But that would be it. By the way, we're getting a super chat for you, Devin, immediately here. It's from Chef
Great.
Kevin Gilbert. Oh boy. Here we go. This is from
What's that
Chef.
say?
Let's get Zariah's wow in here.
Wow.
'Cause you know I'm
Did
always-
my dude Devin burn that Fields jersey yet? Chef Kevin Gilbert.
Chef Kev, salute my guy. Oh, no doubt, Chef. You know what? I'm not gonna burn it yet, bro. I'm not gonna burn it yet. He's still on the contract.
That's not true. Thank you for that, Devin. Can confirm, as HE said. Yeah, he's under contract. Thank you,
Absolutely.
Chef Kevin Gilbert, for that.
Absolutely. Appreciate it.
Kevin,
I
all
love you
right.
though, Chef. Hey,
Yeah.
just and shout out, just a couple of shout outs, hey.
Yes,
Hey,
please.
good seeing you guys. Johnny, I'm glad that you're doing well, man. I'm sorry that I don't just worldwide, bro, but Friday night is family night, so that conflicts, and that's gonna conflict tonight for me too. On a personal note, on the football games playing on.
Sure. Of course,
so we're gonna have to see how I'm gonna finagle that, maybe a little something like that.
Okay.
But I wanted to give a shout out to Johnny. Glad to see you on here, man. Glad to see that you're doing well. Always thinking about you, my boy Indy, and my boy Bashaw. Yo, shout out, respect to all you guys. Love you guys, man, and the rest of the coffee club. No disrespect to anybody. I'll get a chance to shout out. I just don't want to stay on here like for really and Frank and hey, I appreciate, man, all you guys, man. I do appreciate the content. Appreciate you, BG. Appreciate you, Bob. Appreciate that. I look forward to hearing back from you, Bob, on your on the email. And
on the email, make sure
you
you hit
guys
them up.
you have an amazing rest of your day, and maybe 2026 is for us. All right.
That's it, Devin. It's going to be hard to be worse. It's going to be hard to be worse. But if any team, I guess, could figure that one out, it may be them. All right, back to the phone lines. It's your guy Carl up next, man, with the jet tattoo. What's up, Carl?
Oh, you just woke me up. You just woke me up, Boy Green. Hey, listen,
Thank
Bob,
you, Devin.
you're a little older than me, I think, by a couple of years. Mr. Lederer? Hello?
Bob's signal's breaking up there a little bit.
Okay. Anyway, Boy Green, getting back to the Jets. Listen, I think we need more mid-round picks. I don't think we have enough mid-round picks, and I think that if Dante Moore doesn't come out, which I think he's gonna, or if we're not sure about him and Mendoza's gone, I think we should trade down. And I would trade with the Browns, and I would ask them to throw in Shooter Sanders.
Interesting.
I would ask them to throw him into the, like one of the other trades we did, a throw in,
I'm 73 years
old. Bob's camera is working, but audio is not. So, yeah, I don't know what's going on, Bob. You may want to kick yourself out and try to see if you can come back in. I'm not sure what's happening there. So we'll work back on that. Bob, you're having some technical difficulties. But, yeah, I'm intrigued. That's an interesting thought.
Yeah,
If Cleveland's looking to move on, then why not take a dart throw? Okay.
I mean, I don't know if, the Raiders may decide to take more. And then we got to take Mendoza. But I think we need a third-round pick.
Yes, I agree.
And I think I'd love to have a third round, even if we traded down on our second pick, picked up a third rounder and maybe a couple of more fourth rounders. You need those guys that can fill in spots,
Mm-hmm.
We have some high draft picks, but we need to fill in a lot of backup spots on this roster. And I think that we need a third rounder, and I think maybe a couple, another fourth rounder, maybe a fifth rounder. But those picks are very important. I know we have high picks, but those picks are real important.
Oh, very much so.
Yeah, and also, Jake, speaking of Jake.
Yes.
Jake's been pretty heated lately with a lot of people, okay?
That's for certain, yes.
Now, here's my question. Do you think Mike Tannenbaum can take Jake Asman?
Oh, in a fight?
That's becoming heated.
Yeah, I have seen, I've met Jake in person a handful of times. So I've got to see him in person, sort of mock him up for height, weight. I have not met Tannenbaum in person. We've done work together, but virtual. But he's a bigger guy.
If he jumps on Jake, Jake's dead.
Yeah, that's a good point.
He's a big man. And
Asman's a little
another
feisty.
thing, speaking of Mike Tannenbaum, when we hire our coordinators that we're going to be hiring this year, please do not hire the 33rd team to pick them.
Yeah, please. Yes, I concur.
That would be a real insanity move.
Yes.
Anyway, so what do you think? What do you think if we could? What would you be open to Shooter Sanders as just a fill-in?
100%. I mean, our quarterback room stinks, so they should absolutely blow it up. And if there's a weird machination where we could drop from 2 to 6 and pick up Shador and other assets, that wouldn't be enough for me. But if that,
No,
if
no,
like
other
they're,
assets, but
yeah, of course,
just him as a throw-in, because Brady Cook is, Brady Cook's legacy. What's it going to be? He'll be able to sit in a bar someday and say to his friends, "Hey, I was in the NFL once and I played 5 games." Now, a lot of us can't say that, but he'll be able
Bob,
to say
do we have you
that.
back, Bob?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know what happened there. Anywho, so yes, go ahead and ask your question, Carl, to Bob.
Yeah, Bob. Anyway, I think you're a couple of years older than me. I'm 71. Right. Now you have a son. How old is your oldest child?
My oldest child is 39.
Now, I don't know how that happened, but I have 2 children. My oldest child, which is my daughter, is going to be 53. And my son will be 50 at the end of January.
Wow.
Now, you're probably going to ask me, did I get married when I was 14? But I did get married very young. I married my high school sweetheart.
Oh, that's sweet.
I was married for 43 years before she passed away.
Oh my God! Of course.
And
sorry.
Well, that's life. Devastating, but it happened. And I have a lady now that my life went on. So anyway, what I was going to say was that's really odd when I hear somebody that's a couple of years older than me and have children that are that young. And I have children. Now, when I think of having kids that are in their 50s, I'm like, Jesus Christ, what the hell happened here? It's like, do you still call them kids?
Yeah, that's a good point. I don't know. I assume so, I guess. But I wouldn't know. I haven't been in that position yet, I guess. So.
Yeah. Oh, someday you will. Someday you will. But anyway, the point I'm trying to make with this whole thing is that I think that the Jets got to seriously at some point consider trading down just to pick up those mid-round draft picks for fill-in roster spots, people that have to back up other people and, maybe can become something. But I think they need to have all the draft picks they can get. I mean,
Yeah, but I'm not looking for backups. I'm looking for starters.
Although we need both.
I still think they should and could trade down, but I want starters. I'll worry about backups next year.
But you don't know. Yeah, and of course they'd love starters too. But when you draft in the 3rd, 4th, 5th rounds, it's kind of a crapshoot.
Yep.
But at least you're getting somebody there that you can look at.
No, I agree with you here, Carl. To be honest, and this is even more so than this, but those 3rd, 4th, 5th round picks, those are the meat and potatoes of your roster, along with all the other guys. So to have more shots at those kind of guys and their lottery tickets, and hopefully you trust your eval process. I thought the Jets draft, again, you look at Armand Membu and Azaria Thomas and Mason Taylor. I'm not saying this is an all-star group, but there's just intriguing. Ooh, Azaria Thomas could be a starter this year. Malachi Moore, 4th-round pick, could be a starter this year. So if they can find those kind of guys, great. So, yeah, that's an intriguing thought, Carl. I like it a lot.
And one other thing, Bob.
Yes, sir.
I know you're in literary circles, a published author, but I also have a published author in my family.
Oh.
My daughter is a published author.
Wow.
That's a wonderful cover. Okay.
Yeah.
That's my granddaughter on the cover.
Congratulations.
So she's a published author, and she doesn't write football books or sports books.
That's too bad.
But she'll have a second. I'm like her biggest. I'm kind of like her manager. I even bring her books to libraries.
Oh, cool.
And her second book will be coming out hopefully this year. But
please let us know when that drops, by the way.
Yeah, well, you can also, like Bob, she's published on Amazon, and
cool.
It's pretty cool. I love her books. I'm a big reader.
Okay.
And when her book first came out, I went on Amazon after I read it to review it.
Sure.
So when I reviewed the book, I accidentally gave her only a 1-star rating. She called me up and said, "Dad, what the hell is going on here?" And I said, "Look, it was a mistake. I went back on and fixed it." I said, "But let me say one thing. You are not getting a 5-star rating just because you're my daughter.
Ooh, like that. Hold the line.
The book has to be to my liking, and that's the rating you are going to get." And it did turn out to be a 5-star rating.
Oh,
but,
okay.
You know, there's going to be no nepotism. There's going to be no nepotism there, you know?
Smart. I like that, Carl. So nice way to hold the line. I love that, and great for her book. That's terrific. And again, 1 star from Dad. Oof, it's a harsh critic right there. And then he updated it. That's nice. But not just handing him away. I like that in today's society.
Earn it.
Bob, what a show. 3+ hours, 400 people in the room. I mean, this is unbelievable. So any final comments here on this historic program?
Go Dante.
There you go. We got the game tonight, folks. We'll have Dante Moore. We'll have Fernando Mendoza. I'll be on Jets Worldwide tonight for their show. Hopefully, I can't remember what time that is. So I think it's 7:30 tonight.
7:30, which is when the game starts.
Oh no! Oh God! All right, I'm gonna have to balance multiple
it'll probably
TVs.
be closer to 7:45 before they get out all the commercials and the pregame chit chat.
All right. Well, I'm just going to have that projecting while I'm doing the show. And if I'm distracted with her asking me questions, I'm like, sorry, I'm watching Dante Moore and Fernando Mendoza. Hopefully they understand. We'll work on that. So everyone seemed to really enjoy your son.
Really interesting discussions today.
Thank you, Bobby Jr. That's a historic show all to its own. Everybody, thank you so much for joining us here on the program. We'll have our playoff picks against the spread that'll be dropping in a little bit. Thanks everybody for tuning in. We'll see you next time. Take care.